Hello and welcome to Nintendo Podcast System episode 55 with myself, Matthew Gibson, and joining me is Nantenjex from Source Gaming.
Hello everyone. Thank you for having me on, Matthew.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming onto the show. It's quite an honour having a member of Source Gaming on our podcast.
Oh, you flatter me.
Especially with all the Smash stuff going on. Unfortunately, Jack cannot be with us today. He's a bit exhausted with stuff, and for fairly good reason, because he's been very busy with Southampton Game Fest, which is an event coming on, I believe, is 6th of October. Just a good gaming event in Southampton, but more on that in a little bit. Josh, tell us a little bit about yourself for people that may not know you.
Well, I am one of the, I guess I can say, upper echelon of Source Gaming. I've been there for 3 years today, actually. It showed up on my LinkedIn. Yeah. Like, I suddenly had people at my work saying, oh, well, congratulations on 3 years. I was like, what are you talking about?
What a way to
And then
celebrate.
I noticed on LinkedIn, I was like, oh, well, there you go.
Nice.
So, yeah, I started off doing all the video content and working with Push. Originally, before Source Gaming, I was doing random game. I did a writing for a fighting game website, and I had my own blog where I talked a lot about Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
And then started working at Source Gaming, and it's been pretty good since then. I've very much improved my video making skills, and with a new Smash Bros coming on, I'm actually here for the Smash cycle this time, because for Smash 4 I wasn't. I joined as
the DLC was getting
DLC was going out,
yeah.
So it's good this time, and things are different. It's nice to be on the back side of things instead of just waiting for all the actual leaks to happen. I can be there right on time as they come out.
That's very true. Well, you also do good work with Rate That Character, so you...
Ah, yes. That is one exhausting series to
I guess so.
keep up.
You still haven't done Layton, though. You still haven't done
No,
Professor
we haven't
Layton.
done Layton, you're
That's
right.
like the one character I want. I'm surprised.
Hey, maybe we'll do them coming up soon then.
Hopefully. Please do.
Trust me, I've had people asking me. Shadow the Hedgehog is the one that everyone's pestering me about at the moment.
Well, Shadow is it's kind of a lock at this moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm actually, not to spoil the rating for that one, but I actually think Shadow's got a good chance now. Ever since Richter got shown off, my expectations of Shadow shot up.
Are we going to be seeing our first 100%?
Not quite.
Oh,
not
no.
quite. Not. Don't want to be so confident that I start getting really cocky about it. I already learnt this from when I gave Arl 70%, and Steve from Minecraft 80 or something.
I feel like the thing is, Arl I wouldn't mind, but even then it's I was only first hearing of that character from that RTC. And Steve I actually think does have a good chance, but it's one of the only characters that I actually don't want in. I don't know why. I'm just not a big fan of Minecraft.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that. I think that's why a lot of people gave me such vile for giving it such a high score. They just don't want to see him.
Very weird. Anyway, so on today's episode, of course, we've got Super Smash Brothers because there was a Smash Direct. Going over a lot of stuff, we'll be talking about that. In addition, we've got a couple news topics, some basic stuff like release dates, but also two particular scenarios have been floating around recently, talking about emulation and plagiarism. So we'll be getting into that as well. In addition to that, we've also got the games we've been playing, as well as our general shoutouts and listener questions, which shouldn't really be a question because we don't have listener questions all that often. Okay.
We have a few this time from my side anyway.
Yeah, from your side, none from my side. Apart from a close friend of ours. So all that's left with this section is Josh, what is our opening music for this episode?
I decided that I wanted to listen to a remix song from one of my favourite classic games, The Mysterious Murasame Castle. So give me that lovely Smash 4 remix you've got there.
And you heard that as you listened to this episode. Righto. So that ends it for this section. Let's move into our first proper section. So this is the news section right now. As mentioned in the intro, we have got some big topics, but let's get some smaller news out of the way. Nintendo Switch Online, I believe we have talked about it earlier before, mainly because Nintendo are still saying the same kind of things they've always been saying. So for those unfamiliar, they recently updated just to say that it's now coming at the later half of September. I think so they've narrowed it down a little bit, or at least changed the timing. We still don't know anything.
Yeah. There was such a non-message that Nintendo put out on Twitter. Just be like, hey guys, remember, this is a thing, and it's coming.
We are doing
like,
this.
You got a month, yeah, and it's like, okay, well, like, what do we get from it? But it's coming. It's like, you get Super Mario Brothers 3.
That you haven't played 4 times before on other systems. Yeah, it's like
Nintendo Switch Online service is something else. It's just, and it's their first time doing online, and I get it.
Online,
but it's been delayed so much, and Nintendo's current online doesn't give any sort of major confidence in it, and they've been so quiet about it and what people actually get from it. Like, it could be one of the things where they do some random online direct, like in 2 weeks, and it suddenly blows everyone away, and we're all like, okay, never mind, this is worth it. But as it stands, it's like, especially because I just got an NES Classic, so I have no motivation for any of those NES games that they're offering for Switch.
Well, like, the thing that I do like, or at least appreciate about the NES games, is that you can play it online, which is pretty nice. It's a little bonus, but it's like, again, like NES games, when people are like, we just want GameCube games, N64 games as a virtual console service, and Nintendo have just flat out denied that, like, at least just confirmed that virtual console isn't really a thing anymore.
Yeah, it's a weird thing they're going for, especially for the GameCube games, because there was obviously, when the Switch came out, there was that rumor that GameCube games were going to be coming as a virtual console. At least Nintendo was experimenting with them, and that was a big thing that, like, even I was hearing back before the Switch came out. And I'm pretty, like, confident that was a plan at some point.
Right.
That they've just decided not to go forward with. And I don't know if it's because they're holding them back for this, or if they just realize that they could just remake the GameCube games, or, you know, make HD versions of them and then release it for full price instead of... I don't know what Nintendo's deal was, but they were definitely working on something at some point to do with both Nintendo 64 and GameCube Virtual Console. So, I mean, like, how this online service has just changed dramatically so much since they initially announced it, and you're only going to get like one game or something, whatever it was, that you wouldn't even get to keep. They've been overhauling things to make it worth it, but they haven't told us what actually makes it worth it yet, and that's the big problem.
I think we could see something similar to, like, the Switch itself. Because I remember before that launch, we didn't really have any information on its infrastructure or anything like that. So I think, I wonder if they're going to employ the same mentality of, like, oh, we want users to find out for themselves on launch day what it's all about. But I don't really think that would be a good idea.
No, I don't either.
Because it's not like you still need to make another purchase.
Yeah.
You know.
When you're buying a console, even if the actual infrastructure is shit, you can at least count on the games to be good. With the online, if the online's just shit, you're now just suddenly paying for something that you had for free previously, and that's what's the real kicker.
It's going to leave a lot of bad taste.
And some games you don't require it, like Fortnite and Paladins, and Minecraft, which is good. But like other games, like I'm gonna have to get it because of Smash Brothers and hosting online tournaments and stuff. I pretty much have no choice. But I can imagine, like, if you're not that big into playing online games, it's hardly motivating right now to pick it up, and that's why they have that virtual console Netflix style service. But if they do their typical drip feed of updates, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Like, they said it's just NES games right now, but if it's like, I don't know, 30 NES games, that's a completely different story. But at this point, I expect it to be like 5 to 10. And all NES games that were already on the NES Classic. So it's like, why? It'll be like Urban Champion and Ice Hockey.
Yeah.
And maybe there'll be Castlevania or Mega Man thrown in for a third-party game.
Possibly.
Who knows?
I don't know. I think at least it's relatively cheaper. I think for us in the UK, I think it's only going to be 18 quid for 12 months.
Yeah, it's even cheaper if you get the family deal, because it's something like 36 quid, but which is double the price, except that you get it for like 7 people.
7
so
other
when you
people,
split that between, and it doesn't have to. I mean, it's called the family pack, but you just have 7 other accounts. Like me and my friends are talking about doing it, but even then, if it cuts it down to like £4 each, even some of my friends still think that might be too much at this point. Like. And I don't know if it works internationally. Like, I don't know if I could say with my friend in America whether we can be in the same family pass, or if I'd have to have an American account or he'd have to have a British account. Like, there's still so many things that are really unclear, which is like a bad thought when it's meant to be a month away.
Yeah, that's very true. So yeah, Nintendo Switch Online, not very good. If it offered a Miiverse service, that may entice more people.
Oh, actually, that probably would get people to buy it.
Probably.
Like, that's the thing. They had features they could have been really good for it, and then they cut them out for the Switch, like Miiverse.
Yeah,
it's like, why?
It's like, no, like, we don't get the stage again in...
Yeah, in Smash.
Exactly. Right, so moving on, we have got a couple of release dates for quite highly anticipated third-party games. First of all is The World Ends With You. Final Remix is out on 12th of October. And then a week later, we finally get Dark Souls Remastered on the Switch.
Gonna be a hectic week, that.
It's gonna be a hectic October. Like, Christ, you got like Assassin's Creed, Red Dead Redemption 2, Super Mario Party. I'm sure there's like more stuff during October.
Yeah, there is a lot more. October seems to be the packed month for a lot of releases. And yeah, no, quite a few of them I'm interested in. I actually pre-ordered Dark Souls Remastered.
Right.
So I haven't
had to wait all this time.
I'm guessing I'm still going to get it. The World Ends With You Final Remix I've been really excited about getting, so I'll probably pick that up. Mario Party or Red Dead 2, maybe I'll wait till Christmas or something.
Maybe.
Mario Party, I need to ensure that I've actually got people I could play it with.
Yeah.
When it comes out, otherwise
it's people
pointless.
That want to play it, you know.
Yeah. I'll force people.
Yes, that's a couple of release dates. I'm sure there was. That was it. The Taiko no Drum, I believe it's called.
Oh yeah, that comes out as well.
So that was like kind of leaked ages ago, but they finally confirmed it. It's coming, I believe, 2nd of November.
Yeah.
Curiously though, it's coming to both PS4 and Switch, but the track lists are slightly different. So like in the Switch version, you got like some anime openings that the PS4 doesn't have, and vice versa, which I'm not sure how to feel about that.
Yeah, the Switch version also has Nintendo songs, which the PlayStation 4 version doesn't.
Obviously.
And that obviously, yeah. I mean, it's because they're like, Taiko Drum Master is very similar, but they're meant to be different games technically. The PS4 one came out ages ago, and the Switch one only just came out in Japan. I think what's weird about this one coming to the West is in America it's just download only.
Right.
So, which kind of makes it pointless to wait, because you can download the Japanese one right now and it has an English option.
Okay.
So you could get it now, and then just import the drums, because if you're in America, you're going to have to import the drums. Over here in the UK and Europe, the physical version comes with drums, but only the Switch is getting a physical version. The PlayStation version is online, is digital only, so you can't get drums for that version. So again, why you could just download it off the PS4 now?
That's a whole lot.
Get it in English. So that was what I was thinking, because I'm actually interested in getting this. I quite like Taiko Drum Master, but I was going to wait and see if we could actually get the drums over here. Because if we couldn't, then I may as well just get it now and like import the drums.
Yeah.
But the fact that it is coming with drums means that I may very well pick it up. Although again, it's like right after all these games in October, and then November there's Pokemon, and December there's Smash. So
yeah, I have been craving like a good proper rhythm game for a while, and there's already some on the eShop like Thumper. which is something to try out. So I am excited for it, but depends on the content really. Lastly, we've got Doom Eternal, the sequel to the Doom game from 2016. It's coming to Switch like the other versions, but it's also set to release day and date alongside the other versions, being with Xbox One and PS4. It won't be as powerful, like it won't be 60 frames per second.
I think that's fine. I mean, the Doom on Switch, the first one wasn't 60 frames per second, but people didn't seem to mind about that, and it did. I mean, it clearly did well enough that the sequel is coming to Switch in the same day. This is the kind of stuff that I really want to see from third parties for the Switch, like day and day releases for big upcoming games. Like I feel like Doom Eternal is the first big AAA third-party game that's releasing on the same system all over. Like, it could have been Dark Souls, but at the same time, Dark Souls is just a HD remaster of an older game, and then that didn't end up releasing on the same time anyway.
This is an actual proper new game. That's what's exciting about it.
And I think it'll do well on the Switch. I mean, people clearly bought it and enjoyed it on the Switch the first time, and Panic Button does do really good like transitions.
Right.
Whether I'm not sure if I'll get it on the Switch, but that's only because I got the first Doom on PS4.
Right.
And I try and keep them like on the same system.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
So
I still have to play Doom. I am interested in it, but even though I think it will suit Switch better, mainly because of its portability, it's only like a tenner to get Doom from like pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, well, that's an issue. I mean, that's how much I got Doom for. Like, when I got my PS4, I just looked around for games, and it was like 10 quid, and it was the special edition as well.
Wow.
So I was just like, oh, fine, I'll get that. It comes with all the DLC and all this. But it's like 90 gigabytes on fucking PS4.
Oh, Christ.
It's ridiculous. It's insane. It's because it's got like... So the Doom on Switch... the multiplayer is like an optional download.
Yeah.
And then there's also like a stage builder, and the original Doom is also included and stuff like this. And the Switch version only has the campaign and then the multiplayer. All the extras, all of the map making stuff isn't on the Switch version.
Right.
Probably because that's what takes up like 50 bloody gigs on the PS4.
Probably.
And if you're not interested in any of that stuff, and you're not interested in the multiplayer that much, then the Switch version is probably just as fine to get on as the PS4 version. Which, to be fair, I'm not interested in that stuff, but like I said, I have the first one on PS4, I'll probably get the second one on PS4 for the same reason. Even if it'll probably be like 150 gig.
Right, so I think that wraps it up for our general news topics, but as mentioned, we have also got two bigger meatier topics to talk about, the first of which is discussing emulation. Josh, I believe you're more experienced within this section, so why not just talk us through it, just to catch us up?
So emulation, obviously downloading illegal ROMs and stuff like that isn't good, and I wouldn't recommend people to go out and do that. But there's something about having ROMs online and preservation of games, because there are some games that can't be resold anymore, can't be just bought anymore. A good example being from Nintendo themselves. On the NES, they made a Popeye game.
Right.
And they don't have the rights to produce that Popeye game anymore. So we'll never see it on any virtual console, or never be on any system. It's a lost game, essentially. And so the only way that people can experience that is if they try and track down an original copy on eBay, or if they emulate it. And especially over here in Europe, there were plenty of times where Nintendo of Europe didn't release games over here. Like, we never got Earthbound, we never got Super Mario RPG. Square Enix basically ignored us because we never got the Final Fantasies, we never got Chrono Trigger. So there are so many games that Europe in particular didn't actually get growing when we were younger. And so emulating them was the only way that I actually ever got to play Earthbound for the first time.
Right.
The only way I ever got to play Super Mario RPG for the first time, and so on like this. And it's stuff like that that's really vital with emulation. And the problem that's happening now is Nintendo's always been... I mean, all game companies are against emulation, because they see that someone playing a ROM instead of buying the actual game itself is like they're losing a sale, they see it as.
Yeah.
But And some places do just throw lots and lots of ROMs out that are there for people to just download and pirate and stuff like that. And for them places getting taken down, I kind of get it. There's a site called Love ROMs, which has always been like that, running ads and possibly doing malware through it and stuff like that. People just download ROMs from, and Nintendo are actually suing them, which they did at the beginning of last week, and then Smash was kind of hiding it because everyone was too busy looking at that.
Yeah.
But Emu Paradise was the big one that got everyone's attention, because the thing about Emu Paradise is it's not just a site for downloading ROMs. In fact, Emu Paradise doesn't even have any Nintendo ROMs on it, because a few years ago Nintendo put a cease and desist on it, and Emu Paradise took down all of their Nintendo ROMs. So they don't even have anything like that yet. Nintendo have gone back to them and have been like, you have to take down all ROMs, like every single one. Which, to be fair, actually, a lot of people say it's Nintendo, but Emu Paradise, I don't think they ever specified it was. Like, they just refer to the party as they. They don't want to get in trouble with them.
Okay.
Kind of thing. But because Nintendo have been taking down all these other sites, that's why people think it's them.
That wouldn't make much sense, though, for Nintendo to go out of the way for other...
No, Nintendo have been super anti-piracy, and remember, Nintendo games being taken down, but stuff like Castlevania ROM, I'm pretty sure you could still get that, and Mega Man, like stuff that was on the NES and SNES. So they may have been pursuing, like, for that. This could have something to do with Nintendo Switch Online, like, if it's actually going to be bigger than we thought it would be, and has stuff like those sorts of games on it, maybe that's why they're pushing for it now, to get rid of all these emulation, but it still defeats it still takes away the games that literally aren't accessible anymore. And Emu Paradise was like a big archive. It had like the different versions of the games. It had fan translations on there. It had all the various emulators on there. Now it's basically just an info dump. You can find information on all the games, but you can't actually download anything from the site because they had to remove them all. Which kind of like, people can no longer try out these games. And I'm sure someone's obviously still holding on to all the data, because they kind of need to, because a lot of games don't get released, no one ever touches them, and they just kind of fade away, no one saves them, and then they get erased, and no one can ever play them again. Which is why it's so important to do game preservation like this, why people have set up websites and archives and stuff to try and save as many people's work as possible. And I understand why big companies want to take down these websites, but at the same time, in doing so and then not providing any alternative and not preserving the games themselves is a bit of a bad move for just general game preservation and history. Now, Nintendo themselves are actually fairly decent at preserving all of their own games, as evident by the fact that they still had the original Earthbound Zero ROM that they never released. They still had the original Star Fox 2 completed version of the SNES that they never released, and I'm sure they got a million prototypes that they've made, never released, but didn't get rid of, just kept it there. And so I wouldn't be surprised if there was a working demo of Earthbound 64 somewhere in Nintendo's archives.
I was thinking of Mother 3 for a second there, but...
I feel like Intelligent Systems probably have a working version of Fire Emblem 64.
Right.
And stuff like this, like stuff they've worked on. They probably do. We may never see the light of day of it, but they have it there. But there are games that they just won't release again, and no one will ever get to play them again, and no one can do anything like that again, and that does suck. So you can see the argument from both sides here.
Yeah.
And it's hard to turn around and say Nintendo were in the wrong for taking them down, but without offering an alternative, it doesn't make them look good at all.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think mainly why people are getting a bit up in arms with Nintendo is because we don't really have a virtual console anymore. Especially for the Wii, because now the Wii Shop channel has been taken down. So there won't be any chance to play those games. I think one I've seen quite a bit is the Scott Pilgrim game.
And that's a big one, and that's one I actually have the Scott Pilgrim game, and I really enjoy it. And you can't get it anymore.
So it's things like that. I do want preserved, so I think having that take down is pretty gut wrenching. Is that the right phrase?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
that works.
But yeah, it's like I'm very much anti-piracy myself. You know, it's like with anime, I watch Crunchyroll. If it's on the legal streaming service, then I watch it there. But if it's not, then I'd turn to sites like Kiss Anime to watch it, because I don't think it's fair that I'm getting punished or I can't watch it at all just because it's not available for legal streaming in the UK.
Yeah.
Like one example is I'm sorry for talking anime on the gaming podcast.
That's
I'm
all
sorry.
right.
One is like Nichijou for a while. You know, that wasn't available in the UK for legal streaming or DVD, so you can't legally watch it. So the only way would be through like sites like Kisanime. But now that's thankfully available in Crunchyroll, which by the way, please watch it.
I've seen it. I know. I've seen it, Chijo.
It's totally good. Anyway, but now that's legal, then I don't want to be using sites like Kisanime anymore. Like it may not actually go directly to the creators, but I just like having that peace of mind that like, oh, this is the right way, I guess.
Yeah, no, watching it through I would always recommend, if you have the funds, if you've got the ability to get a Crunchyroll subscription and it's there, yeah, sure. I remember there was a big outcry with Little Witch Academia, where Netflix had bought the rights to air the anime, except Netflix didn't put the anime up until the whole season had done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they've done
so no one who actually really cared about that series were going to wait until the half a year for the whole series to be over before they could binge watch it. So in situations like that, lots of people turned to Kiss Anime because it was the only way they could watch it.
Yeah, things like that I'm fine with. You know, I think the other thing is Stars Life of Psyche K, which I know we both love.
Yes.
Mutual love there. But it's like things like that. They put out like the first half of season 2, but not the second half.
Yeah, I know.
I'm expecting it quite soon. Because I think it's been a similar time frame for Little Witch Academia.
The season 2 of the anime is over now. I was surprised they even put it up, because I know Funimation didn't pick up the second season.
Yeah, I wasn't
dub.
expecting it at all.
So because the dub went up, I'd finished watching it when the dub first went up, and I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
But Funimation were airing the dub anyway on their site for free, so I watched it there. But the second one, it was like painful to try and get hold of the second season.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't available on Funimation's because they didn't pick it up, so it wasn't available anywhere until Netflix decided to grab it.
And then only put up half.
And then put up half of it,
yeah. Anyway, back to video games.
Yes.
Yeah, my logic still applies to that. You know, a case like, you know, Scott Pilgrim, Mother 3, Danganronpa for a while, because of course not of course, because probably not many of you give a toss about it, but the original launch for the PSP back in Japan in 2010, but for overseas fans we can have it until 2014. So I don't think it's fair for people that were interested to wait for 4 years when there may have already been a fan translation already out. But I think it is important to buy it when you can. Like if you do emulate, if you do ROM, when it does become available, then I want to see you actually supporting it.
Yeah.
You know,
now, I had that with The World Ends With You, which we were talking about earlier. I originally emulated it on DS because I'd never heard of it before, and I wanted to give it a go, and I enjoyed it so much that I went out and bought it.
Yeah.
And the same thing for the Ace Attorney series. I'd heard stuff about it, but it never seemed like my kind of game. But I did emulate the first few, and I enjoyed it enough that I've bought every single one since.
Yeah.
And rebought the original trilogy, both on the Game Boy and as part of the trilogy pack.
Yeah, like that's the kind of mindset I'd like to have about it if I was to emulate ROMs. But it is a case of like Nintendo specifically aren't really, especially now in the age of Switch, people don't want to bring out the Wii U's again. You know, and the 3DS, whilst it's still a popular console, I'd say people would rather play on the Switch, understandably.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this could hopefully be sorted out if they do eventually revive Virtual Console. I don't think Nintendo Switch Online will be the solution. I think it will only be just a handful of titles. I don't think we'll be getting anything like Earthbound Zero, um, Earthbound Beginnings rather.
Yeah, on the Switch Online, I don't know actually. That's the thing. I don't know. I think we could get Earthbound Beginnings on the Switch Online. I think we could.
I think that could be cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. It really depends on what they're doing. People wouldn't nearly be up in arms if they already announced or had in place a virtual console system.
Yeah.
Where people could be assured that they'd be getting more than just Super Mario Brothers and Urban Champion again.
Yeah. Because it's like those, they're obviously available time, but it is stuff like the more obscure titles just being like lost completely. I don't think that's really right, because I think every game does deserve a chance to at least be preserved. Speaking of which, I think, but Nintendo is quite an ethical pickle, to quote IT Crowd, because it is like, yeah, they are taking down games that you can't play anymore, and yeah, that's kind of bad that they aren't being preserved, but at the same time, all they're trying to do is just protect the IP. Trying to protect their games, trying to protect against, not privacy, piracy. And I think that is a good attitude to have, so I don't think it's right to completely blame Nintendo, because all they're doing is just protecting their properties, But yeah, hopefully it does get sorted soon. Hopefully. Moving on to another moral story. Plagiarism. Everyone's favourite thing.
You know more about this one than I do. I only saw the initial story.
A swap here. So about it was. I'm getting a bit jumbled up here. I'm sorry. I do this often, but it's still a bad habit. So around about last week, it was made clear, I think, by a YouTuber called Boomshack, revolving around his review of Dead Cells. It seemed like the IGN review that I put up seemed to have been a bit too inspired by Boomshack's review of Dead Cells. By that I mean they pretty much plagiarized the whole video. Of course not word for word, but it's sort of like in your own words. So it took that video, or took Boomshack's review, reworded it a bit, and put it out as his own work. And the chap in question is Philip Mewson. I butchered that name, I'm sorry, but it probably wasn't as butchered as his career right now. So, with Philip, so they obviously took that down. It was then rent under, and again my words mumbled up, I'm sorry. It was taken down, and IGN began investigating, and they did find that Philip did plagiarize Boomshack's review. But that's not all. Chris Scullion, a previous member of Official Nintendo Magazine, also called out that he copied his FIFA 18 review from Nintendo Life. Again, not word for word, but reworded it, made it seem like it is his own, but when it really wasn't. And the other one was with Metroid Samus Returns. Another one quite recently, I believe it was talking about the tech in the Joy-Con, where Philip did actually do word for word a couple of phrases from another YouTuber, I believe, into his IGN video. So, pretty disgusting behaviour, really.
Yeah.
As one that I want to get into this industry properly, it's kind of heartbreaking to see not really heartbreaking because I don't really know the guy in the first place, but it's just kind of annoying that there are still people, even with top quality jobs, working at IGN, being a Nintendo editor for IGN, and you're doing something as shitty as plagiarizing other people's hard work. Again, going back to Chris Scullion, in his latest episode of the Untitled Chapter podcast, he brought about his own view on things with FIFA 18. He he pulled an all-nighter playing FIFA 18 when he first got the code, so Nintendo Life could have like the first review on the internet a day and a half before everybody else could. Then Philip comes along, sees the review, rewords it, and then puts it out as his own. It gets more popular, so Philip is profiting off of Chris's own hard work, and that's just not really on like in the games industry or any other industry really.
No, it's not. Like, there's a distinct difference between stuff like reviewing articles and thought leadership pieces. So like a lot of features and stuff are considered thought leadership, and when you got something like that and you see someone's presents an idea and you're like, I agree with this idea, I want to write about it. You're like inspired by it to write about it. Maybe your work will be somewhat similar, maybe you used it as a base, whatever. But this is a very different situation to product reviewing and everything like that. Because when it's a product review, you're right, Chris did all the hard work in this situation, and Philip's the one profiting from it. And being part of Source Gaming, we get this crap all the time. Like, we will spend, the translators on our team, Push and Soma and Brando and all them, will spend forever going over articles, and like a new Sakurai column will come out, and they'll Push will stay up till like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. to translate it and get it ready, push it all out, and then other sites will pretty much just take it and run
without
with
giving
it,
you guys the credit for it.
without giving any credit, and we'll get so many more views and hits than us originally. It actually became a thing recently. I think it was the Smash Reddit, where Push translated something on the All Source Gaming Twitter, and someone had taken it, cropped out the Source Gaming stuff, posted it somewhere. Then someone had seen that post, taken it and put it on Reddit, and that Reddit post shot up in like it became the #1 thing on our Smash Bros. So we complained about it, and someone noticed our complaint on Twitter and then made a post on Reddit. And then since then, people have been like, you see the occasional post where people actually do at All Source Gaming now that we complained about it, and actually giving us like credit finally. But for so long, you get stuff like people actively going out of their way to blur images. Another recent example was this big poll that we pushed in.
Yeah, I saw this.
The Japan one, which a lot of people have been using recently. They've been taking the results and cutting out the characters who are new and presenting them and stuff like this. But one guy on Smashboards actively took the poll and blacked out any connection to Source Gaming and then posted it. And it's like, why? Like, this isn't even like the first one where someone else had done it and he'd accidentally put it on Reddit, didn't know. This person's like actively going out of their way to not give it credit and take it. And it's like, why? Unless you think you're going to get all the credit for running a poll. Polls don't work like that. You've got to give where you're actually getting your results from. It doesn't make any sense otherwise. You just make up a figure. But going back to the topic of reviews, it's not fair it's not fair to the people reading it. It's not fair to the original person who reviewed it, and it's not even fair to the companies if they've given you something for free and you don't feel like playing it, but you don't want to anger them, even though they gave you something for free so that you would play it, and so you just rip off somebody else. It's ludicrous. And I mean, that guy has like absolutely destroyed his career, considering he made that I saw his quote-unquote apology video.
Yeah, I was about to... That was quite a loud motorcycle.
Yes. Sorry.
Sorry. I was about to mention the apology video, by which he has deleted that also. But yeah, go on about what you were talking about there.
Yeah, no, because I saw this part, actually. He made an apology video, and then dared people to find any other acts of plagiarism. And then people found other acts of plagiarism. Yeah, he's basically messed himself up now.
That's why I don't really have much sympathy for him. Losing your job, that's pretty rough, but at the same time, fucking own up to it,
Yeah.
Because it's the thing he was on about is oh yeah, sad video, gotta have No flashy editing, gotta have the sad face and thumbnail, all that shebang.
Hmm.
Then he goes ahead and say, my actions were completely unintentional, and it's like, fuck out of here, you know.
Yeah. How can you
It's like,
unintentionally plagiarize some more?
it's like, of course, it's like a greatly like different scenario, but it's like back like early year with the whole Jake Paul stuff. It's like, oh, by the way, I wasn't really thinking about that. You know, I wasn't thinking when I uploaded that video.
Yeah, or
It's
the
like,
Logan Paul in Japan stuff,
exactly,
yeah.
yeah. It's like, then why did, you know? So the same kind of thing there. And it's like, oh, it's completely unintentional, but it's like you kind of like. I don't know, it just doesn't come across as sincere. After you've said that, you no longer come across as sincere. You've lost pretty much most of my sympathy.
Hmm.
You know, like yeah, you may be a family man, but at the same time, do your own fucking work. You know, don't don't risk getting caught. Just like yeah, it may be good intentions, but it's still kind of wrong. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um.
mean, I don't even get how they can be good intentions,
Yeah.
to be honest.
It was like,
It's,
oh, I
I mean,
want like
good intentions to yourself, maybe, because you have to do
maybe.
less work.
Yeah, I was more thinking of lines of like trying to support his family, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, it's just kind of annoying because it's quite a competitive field of work, right? So it's
It is.
like, um, Jose Otero, left to work at Nintendo himself. Of course, like I think the position was available, so they recruited Philip. So imagine that would have been like a lot of people's like dream job, you know, being the Nintendo guy at IGN.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big job. But then this guy just comes along and just like rips off of other people,
Mm.
claims it as his own hard work and gets credit for it. And I just don't think it's good for people to be like, oh, you know, he just lost his job, and it's like, well, that was his own fault, you know. If you want to support him, tell him that like, yeah, he deserved that. He may get back on his feet, but you know,
Hmm. Yeah,
um,
no. I
the other,
mean, it's. I guess it's a very stressful job being games journalist, especially with so many games that are releasing
right.
nowadays. You just don't have time to do everything. Like, it's always. And you're always trying to be ahead of the curve and stuff like that. But if you get caught ripping off other people's work, and maybe you did it, maybe you didn't actually have any negative intentions. Maybe you literally were just way too stressed, and you knew you had to
Right.
get it out, and it was like a desperate attempt to fix it up. Whatever. If you get caught doing that, though, you're still in the wrong, even if you didn't
Exactly.
mean anything by it.
And
And he
like,
made things far. He butchered any support he had for himself by making that apology video
yeah,
so blatantly unapologetic.
yeah. I was about to say as well. It's like, if you do make that mistake, then like, you know, just own up to it.
Hmm.
You know, own up to your mistakes. Own up. Like he called out, I believe it was Jason Schreier, I think,
Yeah.
of Kotaku, saying,
Turkey.
"Oh, you're claiming all this stuff, but you know, keep on trying." You know, this is the thing that we mentioned earlier. But it's like in that case, it's like you know there are examples. You know you've done it before. Now that's out. It's like now you're just not being sincere.
Yeah, like
So,
that's what makes it so much worse.
hmm,
Like if you'd never done anything before, fine. But if
yeah,
you'd never really done anything before, you should have just said it was a one-time thing.
yeah. Well, I want
Like,
something. You know, like even. Like, explain the reasoning why he did it. You know, I don't believe the fact that it was unintentional. You can't unintentionally plagiarize
no,
somebody else.
agreed.
You can unintentionally write something similar, but to do something in such great, it's too big of a coincidence to just be a coincidence. You
Yeah, yeah.
know. So, oh no. My headset fell off a bit. Um. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say, really. I think the other thing is that it just shows like a lack of confidence in your own ability, you know.
Hmm.
Like sure, like we'd all love that job, and there is the general consensus that like all we do, well, yeah, all game journalists do is just play games. Well, of course, that's not really true.
No, it's not true at all.
Not
I
at
wish I could
all.
play games.
I mean, yeah, they do, but like you know, we also write critical thoughts about it, you know,
Yeah.
talk about why it's good, why it works, stuff like that, and other things as well. Um, this dude just comes along and just like is just playing games, but not putting any direct effort himself into it.
No.
Um,
Exactly.
and like the other thing as well is like at least he tried to apologize for like said like don't pick on IGN because he was right that like there are other good working people at IGN, and I don't think it's right for people to
No.
abuse IGN specifically.
No,
It's
IGN did the right thing in that
yeah.
situation. They could have done it very wrong, but they didn't, and that's good props for IGN.
Yeah. It shows like they actually know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like mentality like that. It's like you should if there is like a pretty bad piece, I think it's always important to like criticize the writer at hand and not the actual publication.
Mhm.
You know, I just don't think it's very fair to like disregard other people's hard work just because of one person's shitty thing. You know, if they all tolerated that kind of shit, then yeah, fine.
Mhm.
But this action does show that yeah, it wasn't a thing like oh we're giving him a second chance, you know, because everyone makes mistakes. It's like no, yeah,
Yeah.
you can't do that. But yeah, that's pretty much all my thoughts about this whole scenario. But yeah, just like if you want to support him, that's fine. But like, just tell him he's in the wrong.
Mhm.
You know, just tell him to like own up to everything. Tell us why he actually did it. There's no way he's just like, oh, it's just a coincidence. It's like, well, no. You know, like if he actually told us why, like maybe he was stressed or something, which is actually quite common, I'd say. You know, it can be quite a stressful job, I imagine.
Yeah.
But having to resort to like stealing other people's content and hard work, I think that does require like a lot.
Stealing
Of
is
just
stealing,
yeah.
so it's never justified, really.
That's very true. But yeah, that's pretty much.
Well, I've got nothing to
wrap it
say
up,
more
yeah.
and more on this, so we should move on
We
to
should move
the
on.
big topic of this one, an hour in.
Yeah, an hour in. Well, an hour into our talk, but like about 50 minutes into this episode. We're on decent track. Don't worry, Josh. We're like this is typical for us. I guess we could like call it its own section. So let's move on to the next section.
All right.
So this is our big topic for this episode. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, a godsend of a video game in every way, hopefully. But yeah, so in case you missed it, there was a Nintendo Direct that featured entirely around the video game and pretty much Sakurai being the second coming. No, of course, Masahiro Sakurai, being the legend he is, brought us a lot of new details, including 5 new characters, a lot of info about stages and modes and whatnot. This is pretty much a perfect direct, I think.
No, yeah,
So,
no, I was
yeah.
like actually blown away by this direct. It's possibly one of the best. It's definitely like the best game-specific direct
I think so, yeah.
I've ever had to see. And if it wasn't for like my absolute mad Smash bias, I would say it's like the best direct ever. But I'm trying to avoid the fact that because it's Smash Brothers, it's just suddenly much better. I'm sure there have been directs in the past where they've announced really good games that have made us all really excited.
Oh yeah.
But this was definitely in the upper levels of
just the
direct hype.
Yeah, definitely. I think a big part was because it was announced at Evo. that was everyone's saying that something will be announced, but I don't think people were actually expecting an announcement of an announcement.
No, I mean that's like the bare. I think that was the maximum you were ever going to get at Evo,
Exactly.
but I wasn't even expecting that. I mean, nothing ever gets announced at Evo from Nintendo before.
Yeah.
In fact, doing so is like actually a big acknowledgement of how important Smash is to competitive communities.
Yeah, I think like the thing with Smash though is like you can't want everyone to be watching at the same time. You know, you can't like because not everyone's going to be watching Evo. You know.
Yeah.
Not everyone has made time for either, but like when you give time to let people prepare for Smash, it's like, oh, get
Mm-hmm.
ready for reaction videos and stuff. It's
Of
just that
course. But
kind of like hype cycle that I really love, and I think Nintendo do realize that. Um, yeah, the other thing, quickly before we go in, I just want to mention, like, did you see many people complaining that it was a Smash only direct?
yeah, I didn't see as many as I heard people saying there
Yeah.
was. I don't understand the logic behind that. It's like, oh, we heard a lot about Smash. I guess it's clearly from people who aren't that big into the Smash community, and they are really desperate to hear new stuff
Hmm.
from Nintendo this year, because Nintendo, outside of Smash, which is really hype, like September, the only two things that Nintendo has in the is the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 DLC
Yeah.
and the Nintendo Labo vehicle kit.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then they have nothing in August, in this month.
Yeah.
And October, the only thing they've got is Mario Party. However, those same sort of people also forget there's a
Third
bunch of
party.
third-party
Yeah.
stuff coming out.
Like this month we had the Kami HD recently. We've got more
Yeah,
songs
that
coming
just
out.
came out.
Um.
Yeah, and Nintendo just released WarioWare, even if it wasn't on the Switch,
Oh
they
yeah.
still released a game, and quite a good game as well, I think.
Hmm. I think the other thing about it is like, I don't think you could really complain though, because I think at E3 that's fair enough, because you're going into that thinking that was just like a general direct with a big focus on like Smash.
Hmm.
But at E3 Smash did take up like half the presentation, so
Yeah,
I could understand the bitterness at that. But when they've already said flat out, like, oh, a direct about Smash Brothers is coming out, I don't really see how you can be too disappointed. You
yeah.
know?
I mean, there's a lot to talk about with Smash in such a short time
Yeah.
that, of course, they're going to start talking about it. Plus, it is still one of their big hype games, even if you don't like it
I think it's
yourself.
like their
It
biggest
makes sense
hype
to do
game,
it.
probably.
Yeah, it is at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, I can
Because
see other people
Smash.
being excited for Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild last year more than Smash, but
Hmm.
because they're very different games. But this is
Yeah.
still AAA Nintendo right now.
Yeah. So I think it is definitely worthy of getting its own direct, especially what they've talked. And I think we will be seeing a general direct at the beginning of September. I think,
Yeah, I think so as well.
as usual.
At least just to talk about their online stuff. Come on, they have
Yeah.
to do that now.
And like they have already said that they are planning on releasing more titles in 2018. And it's like, well, where are they?
Yeah, exactly.
They have to
You
be
need
talking
talk about
about
them
it.
at some point.
Yeah. Um. So anyway, let's get into it. First of all, bloody hell, Castlevania. Smash. Um. This is quite cool. I'm glad they opened with this because I think
Yeah,
going
same.
into it, of course, the music leaked,
Yeah.
which is
Even
unfortunate.
before that, though, there
Yeah.
was loads of rumors about Simon.
Yeah. So yeah, I was feeling Simon going in even before the leak, but yeah. So I'm glad they opened with that.
Hmm.
But first of all, I just want to talk about the movie for a second. I'm just loving the fact that like we're finally getting like proper CG cutscenes again, because we
Mm.
didn't get them for the DLC characters. We only got like a couple of like
Yeah, only for the base
yeah,
games
only for the
characters.
basic. But like just the quality in general is just like so clean, you know.
Oh yeah, the two trailers, the two CG trailers they showed off here are by far the best CG trailers
I think
they've
so, yeah.
done for a Smash reveal.
Yeah.
Like Ridley's was cool, but it was pretty standard. Inklings was
Yeah.
for revealing Smash in
Yeah.
itself, and the only one that really is, I mean, that memorable from the Smash for Wii U ones to me is Robin's.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, that was
they,
a good one.
they were cool. Like Palutena's being animated like that, Little Mac's being animated, Greninja's with all the Pokemon and Shulk. Like they were cool trailers.
Mm.
But like Robin's is the only one that really stood out to be fun as well.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I
But
think that's a good way to put it, actually.
mhm.
Mm.
but the amount of build up towards this one in the Simon and the King K. Rool trailer were both
Yeah.
like glorious.
Oh, it's just... Oh, I'm just so happy. The thing... My only complaint with Newcomers is, like, we aren't getting that art anymore.
Yeah,
like-
no, I don't quite get why, because
We-
Inklings when the Inklings got revealed, we got the art.
Mm. Well, I think around E3 we got the art.
Yeah,
for
yeah, it was
Inklings.
around the E3,
But we haven't got
with the
anything
Smash
for the other newcomers, which makes me a
Yeah.
bit sad because they're always so cool.
Yeah, the art was really good. I guess they just focused on updating the big one, and the art for Inklings was just done because
they didn't have their own
the artist wanted to do it. Yeah, maybe it's just because the artist of Splatoon really wanted to draw it.
Yeah. To be
Whereas
fair,
Ridley, King K. Rool, and Simon don't have a specific artist right now.
That's a fair point. But yeah, that's like a very minor complaint because the CG trailers are more than enough. You know, even if Luigi dies, he was still
Rest in
cool.
peace.
By the way, I was not expecting that. I don't think anyone was expecting Luigi to die.
Expecting that. Everyone thought Simon would like jump in at the last second to save him, but nope.
It's like no, he just flat out dies.
Luigi's dead. Yeah, he's dead. He's gone. He's joined Mario in the sky.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed, it may have been another person on Twitter or just Game Explained themselves, but they noticed that like the Poltergust Luigi has is a new model.
Yeah, no, a few people pointed that out. It's not something I noticed originally, but it got pointed out on my Discord, and I haven't actually watched Game Explain's Simon analysis. Sorry, Derek, I'll get to it eventually. But yeah, no.
So I wonder if that's going to be used for Final Smash then. And if so, why change it in the first place?
I mean, maybe it's a. I've been a big sayer that Luigi's Mansion 3 is like next level's big game.
Right.
Like I think they planned
it for the
Wii, because they were planning a game for Wii U that never came out. I can only assume it got pushed back and is going to be released on Switch. And considering they did Luigi's Mansion,
the 3DS remake,
3DS,
yeah,
I could see, but they're not doing this. From what I understand, they're not doing the 3DS remake.
Oh, they're not?
No, I think Grezzo is.
Oh, I think you may be right, yeah.
So whatever they're working on, because we haven't heard anything from them in ages, is probably a Switch title, and I could probably see it being a new Luigi's Mansion.
Could you imagine it being launched day and date alongside the 3DS remake of the original?
That'd be dumb.
that'd be wow. But yeah, so moving on, Simon Belmont in Smash.
Yeah.
Good lord.
That was fine. Finally, I was like half and half because I knew it was coming, and part of me wanted to just see him to get it over with, and the other half wanted to be surprised. Yeah. But they managed to pull off both because they also announced Richter at the same time.
Exactly. Even with leaks, you may just get a character you still don't know how they play. You don't know what the stage will look like. You don't know the moves. You don't know if they have an Echo Fire in this case. Castlevania is getting mad representation.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of love in this game. And Simon is getting the Mega Man treatment that Smash 4 got.
Right.
With Simon being like pretty much identical to his NES counterpart. Like his idle animation is the exact same pose the sprite takes.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming his jump isn't as bad, but he has all of the attacks and stuff from Castlevania, which is really, really cool. Like, it clearly very loyal to him, just like how with Mega Man, he looked and acted a lot like his NES form.
I think his official render, is taken from the box art as well. Just now you're facing him up front.
Yeah, I think so.
That is, I haven't played a Castlevania game at all, and I'm not even that into the franchise. But Christ, I just couldn't help but being hyped.
Yeah, it was really exciting.
Just the Vampire Killer remix.
Yeah, the music was great. I love Vampire Killer as a song. So seeing the music was or hearing the music, I should say, was really cool.
So cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of Castlevania love, and not just Simon. But Dracula's Castle stage is an iconic one to have on there, and it's got all the bosses from the first Castlevania, second Castlevania showing up.
I was thinking that was going to be bigger stage, but from seeing it seems to be relatively small actually.
Yeah, it's not that large a stage actually. I think the bosses in air quotes aren't actually bosses in Smash. It's just that they'll do an effect.
Yeah.
Like the Death will fly around in the background and either throws little scythes or on the occasion do a big swing, and you just have to dodge it.
It's so weird, like you're getting like a mythical creature like Death in Smash Bros. It's like Christ.
Realistic Death, yeah.
Like holy water. It's like Jesus, Nintendo. All these religious connotations. But yeah, again, you know, you're getting like 34 music tracks.
Mm.
That's quite a
Yeah,
lot for a new
a lot of
franchise. I don't
music.
think even Splatoon has that much.
No, I don't think Splatoon does.
I think
I
Splatoon has like
don't even think
23.
Sonic has that much.
Sonic only has like 20.
Yeah, I think
Oh
it's
my
gone
God.
up to 30 in
But
this
like,
game now. But it's still less than Castlevania.
but I do like there's a neat touch that like he mentioned that like the music team are quite a big fan of it because it shows like a more of a
Yeah,
personal touch to it. I could appreciate that. I'm
yeah.
like, they're the ones working the game. They're allowed to choose.
I think Sakurai is just a big fan of
Oh
Castlevania
yeah,
as well.
yeah. That's a fair point. I can't blame him. You know, again, it's his game. He's allowed to do what he wants with it.
Yeah.
We can't ask him for anything ever again. But yeah. Then like Alucard and Sis Trophy. He looks sick.
Yeah.
Like, again, that's like a PlayStation title, Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, it's also like one of the most. It's like the Final Fantasy VII of Castlevania
Right.
games.
Okay.
And also Alucard. I mean, his design's from Symphony of the Night, but he technically debuted in Castlevania 3 on the
Right.
NES. So he appeared first on Nintendo systems, so you can somewhat try and justify it like that.
Ah.
But I think Dracula's design is from Symphony of the Night as well, and Richter's design. Like they're all from Symphony of the Night.
Dracula's fucking tall, man. Like, Christ.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Yeah, they just made him 3 times. It's funny because
Exactly.
Richter's meant to be like 5'11", and Dracula's meant to be something like 6 foot
that's not.
something.
Is that how it feels for like 5 foot people?
Yeah.
6 foot or something.
Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, that's enough of Castlevania. I am just pleased. You know, I think out of all the third party reps, if this is like the final third party rep, I don't think it will be, but if it is, I'm quite happy. I think for third party rep, it's important to be iconic enough to gaming as a whole, and I certainly think Castlevania is deserving of a place in Smash.
Yeah, Castlevania is like the last big NES platformer, I think, that's
Right.
kind of impacted everything. If I had to pick another one, I'd say Ninja Gaiden.
Mm.
But Ninja Gaiden isn't quite on the level of Castlevania and Mega Man, or for third-party Nintendo franchises. They weren't part of the Captain N team. Ryu isn't part of the Captain N team. It's Mega Man, Pit, and Simon Belmont.
Yes, I think Simon is worthy of it, and like Richter seems like a pretty cool Echo Fighter, and I think he's voiced by David Vincent. It seems.
Is it David Vincent?
I think so, because like just the way he says it, like you don't belong in this world, monster. It sounds very much like Robin,
Yeah.
So-
Oh yes, it is.
and I like
Yeah,
his victory animation as well. It's so cool.
Yeah, they've been very loyal to
Yeah.
Richter.
See, that's what I love in Smash though. It's just like even the smallest details, you know, like idle animations, poses. The fact that, like the flames from the holy waters blue, like in his game, compared to Simon's red flames.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's just wow. Yeah. So that's Castlevania. Moving on to Echo Fighters. I know Jack is very pleased for Chrom being in the game. Because he just loves Fire Emblem. Yeah, you know, even with Echo Fighters, I still wasn't actually expecting Chrom to be in.
Fair. I was.
I think so, yeah.
I released a video like literally on the same day. I had Simon and Chrom and Dark Samus and King K. Rool all in it. Like, that was half of my predictions were those 4.
Done. Nice.
So it was a pretty good day for me. Chrom was definitely the least of that list I was thinking, though, and that was mainly because there's already 6 Fire Emblem characters, and there was
Just had
already
another
one Fire Emblem Echo. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if they would do Chrom, but they did, and that's cool. I'm really happy for those who really wanted Chrom, because he was really highly requested in Smash for Wii U and 3DS, and Sakurai had considered adding him into the game, but didn't because he thought it'd be too similar.
But now with Echo Fighters, that dream
Yeah.
you realise.
If they're going to focus on Echoes, then it doesn't matter anymore.
That is why I'm loving the idea of Echo Fighters. Like not, like again, like with Crom, you know, like, and I think Richter would get the same treatment if he wasn't treated as an Echo Fighter as well.
Yeah.
Like possibly taking up slot, even though like they actually don't, it gives the illusion that they are. When they're under the Echo branding, it removes away that presumption.
Yeah, the Echo branding is probably the best thing that they've done so far for Ultimate, because Echo Fighters aren't new, like they're like melee clones basically. So they've been around for ages, but people just complained about them all the time because I think the difference was they weren't being acknowledged as such, they weren't being branded as anything different, but a lot of them were also like the unlockable characters and weren't revealed until after the game. So like when you're expecting big secret characters and a bunch of them are all the same as existing characters, like I think that creates more of a disappointment. Whereas at this they're just announcing them all, like Daisy and Crom and Dark Samus, all like beforehand, and acknowledging straight from the right at the gate that these are the same as existing characters, but we included them because people wanted them, and then people don't mind anymore.
Yeah. Again with like Dark Samus as well. I thought Dark Samus was a lock because Samus's palette change was. For Dark Samus was removed.
Yeah, no, Dark Samus I was far more confident in. Like, Crom's could have all been coincidental, all the hints towards him, but how they had changed Samus's Dark Ults really gave the impression that they were adding Dark Samus in. Because otherwise there was just no reason to do so. I
think the only one I'm like actually confident in now is Shadow, and that's it. Because I have seen, like, as much as I would love Isabelle, and I think Isabelle is deserving, again, I think it was either you or another member of Source Game who mentioned that it would be weird to see Isabelle with an axe. You know?
Yeah, I think Push is the one who mentioned that Push is big on Isabelle being in and not being an Echo Fighter, like having her own moveset.
I think Isabelle is worthy, but I think it is a case of like why, or like how would that moveset work?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm gonna do. I might do an article on that,
right?
Because I've been thinking about it for a while, because I always like to challenge myself.
Yeah.
How would they make a unique moveset for Isabelle? And originally I was saying Isabelle would be an Echo Fighter, but the more I'm thinking about it and stuff and talking to Push about it and all things like this, I'm starting to think maybe she could go either way. Like, she could have a moveset around festive, like, because Animal Crossing is a series where you got like lots of real life festivals like Christmas and Halloween, and Isabelle's always at the forefront of that. So maybe they could use that for inspiration.
That's a good idea.
Or maybe they could just have like a Gretzko, but it's Isabelle. And there you go.
I think Isabelle is worthy of getting her own moveset, though.
Yeah,
I think the Animal Crossing series does deserve another representation, but...
I mean, Isabelle's one of the only, I would say, 2 missing all-star characters, with the other one being Toad.
That's a fair point, yeah.
Once you have those 2 in, I think you've got all of the key characters. Some people would argue Dixie Kong should be included in there. I'm not one of those people.
I'd argue Celica from Fire Emblem.
I'm definitely not one of those people.
Yeah. So on the topic of echoes, how many more do you actually think we're going to be getting?
I mean, we could get plenty more, but currently, I'm saying 2.
Only 2 more?
Only 2 more, currently. And my 2 predictions are, because Richter got added, I started leaning more into the third-party Echo Fighters. Right. I think Ken from Street Fighter is like almost a lock. Like, he's the one I'm most confident in. Because Sakurai likes to celebrate how games started and gaming history, and Ken is like the original Echo Fighter. Like, his whole reason he exists was so that player 2 could use Ryu's moveset. Yeah. Because the original Street Fighter didn't let you use the same character. So Ken was literally made to have the Ryu's moveset. And while he has gotten slightly more Luigi-fied over the years, if Sakurai wants to celebrate Echo Fighters in fighting games, Ken is the choice to have. So I could see Ken, and then the other one is, like you said, Shadow.
Yeah.
I think Shadow the Hedgehog is... We haven't seen his assist trophy. He is a really popular Sonic character. I mean, he's the only Sonic character to have a spin-off game that's considered part of the main series. Like
that is,
Knuckles
isn't
and
it?
Tails games are spin-offs, but Shadow the Hedgehog is actually considered a mainline title.
Shadow has to be in. Like,
yeah,
I can't see how he can't be in.
And Sonic's a big enough series that it could easily get a second character, and Shadow would. Maybe you could pull a Chrom and change like his up special to being a warp or something like Chaos Control. Like you could make a change like that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, just touching on Chrom quickly, I was not expecting Chrom to be an echo of Roy though. That's slightly annoying to me because Roy's already a clone of Marth.
Yeah, well, I think they changed Roy up enough.
Yeah.
From Marth in Smash 4, and I kind of see because the whole point about Echo Fighters is they're meant to have like the same attack, same speed, same weight as their original counterpart. It's just very minor things that have changed. And with Chrom, Sakurai always described him as being in between Marth and Ike because he has moves that Ike can use. Yeah, he's not as like Finis and not as
Burly?
Accurate. No, I'm talking. Well, he's not as accurate as like Marth is.
Oh, right.
He's not as effeminate as Marth is, but he's not as burly as Ike is. He's not as big, so he's like in between. He can use some of Ike's moves. He fights in a wilder style, but he's not big like Ike is. And so to fit the Echo definition, he kind of needs to be in between that.
Right.
But Roy, I guess Roy technically in Smash does fit between that. He was always Roy was introduced as being a wilder, stronger Marth, but also being around Marth's general size.
Right, I can see that, yeah.
So Chrom does actually make sense a lot like that, and I think he does fight, but then, of course, he also has Ike's moves, so they had to then give him Ike's Aether, at least, because Chrom also has Aether in the games. And if they wanted to represent him properly, they'd have to do that.
Anyway, like, you were saying something else before I rudely interrupted.
Just that Shadow and Ken, my two Echo fighters, and then I think Isabelle can still get in, but I think she's going to be unique if she gets in now.
I think I'm thinking possibly two more
Echo fighters as well, or
so.
Two more in addition to the two I get.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think around about 3 or 4.
Okay.
So I think Ken and Shadow will be 2 of those. But I'm thinking about it now. I don't know who though. Like, there are ideas I have, like Miss Pac-Man for Pac-Man.
Yeah, that's a simple one to go for.
I saw one idea could be Vridi for Palutena, which I wouldn't mind because more Giddick representation would be cool.
I'm not sure if Vridi would work personally, but I think Medusa could work.
Medusa would be cool, especially if we are actually getting a villain versus hero theme.
Yeah, and like Palutena is the goddess of light, Medusa is the goddess of darkness. They're both around the same size.
Yep.
Stuff like this, and Vridi's also in the background of one of the existing stages, so I don't know if they're.
Right.
I don't think you can't really pull an Alfonso with her.
Alfonso would just take Vridi's position.
Alfonso just drops the bomb on the stage. Alfonso wipes out humanity. The end.
Vridi joins the battle. Alfonso wipes out all of humanity.
Yeah. Alfonso becomes the god of nature.
But like the other thing, like I just like entertaining the idea of Echo Fighters though. It's like looking at Donkey Kong, Funky Kong as a Echo Fighter would just be sick.
Funky Kong.
I don't think it would fit, but just having that idea is really cool.
Fair. I didn't think Daisy would fit Peach in terms of attacks and stuff.
Oh, really?
But yeah, well, like design-wise, yeah, sure, they're very much like the same. But like, there's a lot of stuff Peach does that Daisy's never done before.
Right.
But then I guess Sakurai didn't care because there you go, Daisy's in. So if that's the case, then yeah, I could totally see Funky for Donkey Kong.
But it's like the other one as well is like Dixie Kong for Diddy Kong, for example.
Yeah. I think if I had to say 2 more Echoes, Dixie Kong over Diddy Kong, and given a Donkey Kong's Up special with a spinning one.
Right.
That
makes sense. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense for the Dixie, and then my other, if I had to do another echo, I'd say Impa over Sheik.
Oh, I think I like that.
Mm.
I think Zelda is due for another rep.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
yeah, I think for me, if I could have like one more Fire Emblem rep, I would want it to be Celica over Robin, maybe.
Maybe,
Maybe.
yeah. The
Because
only
I like
issue.
that is mainly biased because I do love Celica. She's probably like my favorite, or at least one, definitely one of my favorite Fire Emblem characters.
Yeah.
Um, so it would be cool to have her in, but again, it is another Fire Emblem character.
It is another Fire Emblem
Yeah,
character. I mean, my only thing against that is Celica's magic doesn't use tomes,
right. Uses her health,
so
doesn't it? Yeah.
yeah, it uses her health, and whereas Robin's is specifically magic tomes.
Mm.
So
I mean, she could probably still use that magic, but maybe just like not have the tone thing, but her health, like Pichu.
I mean,
But I guess that may be annoying.
she could do it. Depends on how much it conflicts with whatever their requirements are for
Right.
Echo Fighters, which no
Yeah.
one knows at this point.
No one knows.
But would like Celica get away with being as slow as Robin is? Because Robin's quite slow.
Mm.
And that's mainly because he's like holding books and is like wearing lots of baggy
He's
clothes.
still slower than Ganondorf, though. How can that happen?
Hey, Ganondorf's gotten fit this time around.
Oh yeah. Oh, another one. Ninten for NES. I quite
Yeah.
like that idea.
I like that idea, just so that we have all three protagonists
Yeah.
from Earthbound. I'm not sure
Nice.
how like the visual issues with that, but that would be that would be one I'd be okay with.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's so. Like, if we are only getting two more, I think 7 is a pretty good number for Echo Fighters. I'd say.
Well, we're on 6 now, right? Yeah, 6.
7, I believe.
No, well, we got
no, 5.
Dark Pit,
Yeah, 5.
Lucina, Richter.
Oh, Richter,
Daisy,
yes. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about
and
Richter.
then Dark Samus Chrome, so
Yeah.
6.
Yeah, 6. So 8 in total if we're only getting 2 more.
Yeah, 7 or 8 in total. Where if we get
That's a
one
pretty good
more, if we
number.
get one more, it's just Ken. If we get 2 more, it's Ken and Shadow. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. At least, like, out of all the Fire Emblem reps, at least 2 are Echoes. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm not
something
sure
to
if I
say.
want to see any more Echoes from Pyre.
Yeah, I love Fire Emblem, but yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I love Fire Emblem as well, but I think it is very well represented. Well, in fact, it's not well represented because they're all sword users, but it's got plenty of people. We don't need any more.
That's true. Alright, so finally moving on. 103 Strangers. Christ.
Yes. Over 300 if
How
you
does he
include
do it?
the Omega forms and Battlefield forms.
Just
300 variations.
Oh my god. Like, we already got, like, 85 stages out of all, like, the E3 stuff. But still, like, it was quite surprising just to, like, get it confirmed.
Still not every stage. I mean, not every stage is coming back.
You're over that. Oh.
That's what I meant. Sorry. No,
Okay.
I realised as I said it. I think 100. I think 103 is the final stage count.
Okay.
I don't think we're getting any more,
I
unless
think,
it's DLC.
Yeah. I think. See, that's the thing. It's like I'm a bit of like in between both sides. Like I think 103 stages does seem like a final number. But it's like mainly a bit is for denial, mainly because so that means we probably won't be getting any newcomers from new franchises.
Yeah, well, I've got my own thoughts on that with the music section.
Right.
Where when they showed off the music section, which has now been split into like stage series.
Yeah.
Like there is like the last one on there is Castlevania. It's like there isn't any more series after. After that, it just goes to miscellaneous. I don't think they would have cut one out. That's my thought. I mean, I'm not denying that it's a possibility. Like, I'm not going to deny that, but I don't think they would have.
Yeah.
And then that just says to me that unless it's like a really minor series where it could go into the other, I'm not sure if we're going to get any new series.
I think,
or at the very least, we're not getting any new stages from new series, which would be a bit weird if we got like a third party character and no stage.
Yeah, that'd be a bit off. But the other thing is, So on the site here, with all the
Yes.
stages and stuff, so you got like all the returning stages and stuff like that. But one in particular is with the Mute City stage from 3DS.
Yes.
But it's listed as Mute City SNES,
Yeah.
and not
It uses the
just Mute
graphics
City.
of the SNES.
Yeah, but in the 3DS game, they didn't have the SNES there as well.
I mean, that's true, but also in the Wii U game, they just called Congo Jungle
Oh,
Jungle
Congo Jungle 64.
64,
That's right.
even though there was no other Congo Jungle.
That's a fair point. But like,
I've had this argument thrown at me, in fact, the other day, Mute City SNES, and I don't think. I mean, I'd like Mute City to come back, but I think the reason it's not is it's not a stage that they can just port over from the Wii U. They'd have to recreate it.
That's a fair point.
And it's quite a big, hefty stage. Like the original one in Melee basically took the track verbatim from the Nintendo 64 game and then polished it up a little bit.
Okay.
And then used that. And it's the same for Rainbow Road on 3DS is also missing here. And that did the same thing. On the 3DS, it just took Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 7, slapped it in there. So if they wanted to do it for this game, they would have to redo all of it in HD.
Oh,
and with updated
reason.
textures and stuff like that. And it's not like the 64 stages where they're trying to keep them as nostalgic as possible. The Melee stages are getting proper overhauls. So they would have to, for Mute City, just remake that entire track. And then they could reuse the cars from Big Blue, and then just have just to have it like move through the stage. And Port Town's just brought over from the Wii U with a few touches up, so that's fine. It's a lot more harder for that, and that's why I think the returns on investment for those two stages weren't that great, and probably why they didn't get added in. Like, I've got my own theories for why every one of the stages has been cut.
Yeah. I think that's fair reasoning, to be honest. I think that's probably like the best reasoning I've heard as to why those two stages could have been cut. The other reasoning I have slightly is this probably isn't all that reliable, mainly because this comes from the localized version of the Direct. So Masahiro Sakurai may be saying something different. But before he actually reveals the number in the Direct, it says the stage total is turning out to be pretty impressive. So I feel like the phrase on that, to me, implies that they're still working on it. But,
I can understand why you take that, but
it's
I
like,
mean,
why would they give the number in the first
place?
Yeah,
Sakurai's never given a number on something unless it's definitive.
Right.
Like a lot of people pointed, they said 66 characters, or Sakurai didn't say that. The Nintendo website said it. Yeah. It's like, and I'm sure if we go back to that now, it says more. It's like not something that Sakurai mentions. The only time he's ever given a number, apart from here with the music tracks and the stages, was when the Smash 4 DLC ended. And he was like, we have this many characters, this many stages, this many music tracks and all stuff like that at the end of it.
So
this many trophies.
So if DLC is coming, then I think it is safe to assume that we will be getting stages as DLC.
Yeah, I think if DLC is coming back, I think we'll see both of those missing Nintendo 64 stages come back for sure. That's Planet Zebs and Sector Z.
Thinking about that then, but yeah, like even with that, you can't really complain though, can you?
No.
You're still getting like 103 stages.
103 stages, and some have never come back before. Like, I'm super stoked to see Mushroom Kingdom 64 back. And Brinstar Depths as well.
I'm looking forward for Fountain of Dreams, because I've actually really never played Melee before. Crucify me, whatever, but Brawl was my first one. But I just loved like the general aesthetic of Fountain of Dreams. So when I saw that revealed through that comparison, that was just like, wow, they're so shocking.
Yeah, Fountain of Dreams looks really good. I can see what they held off. Great Bay looks, I'm really happy that's coming back. Fourside as well. Fourside is one I've been wanting to come back for ages.
You've got like 4 Earthbound stages, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got On It, Fourside, New Pork City, and Magican.
Yeah.
And Magican, look, I mean, the upgrade for 3DS stages to Ultimate is really good. I really want to see Reset Bomb Forest in action. because and Paper Mario as well.
Yeah, I'm
really
just thinking that now.
Mario stage in action.
Yeah, I'm just happy Spirit Trade made the cut because Spirit Tracks was my first Zelda, so that's quite nostalgic for me actually.
Spirit Tracks is a good one to start with. Spirit Train was fun. I got to play it on the demo quite a few times. And chill to play as.
The only, but it is strange that we're only having 4 brand new maps though.
Yeah, that's a bit disappointing. Looking at them though, I see why. I mean, if the only 2 new series are Dracula's Castle and Moray Towers, they're like, as in like Splatoon and Castlevania, are the only 2 new series, then yeah, get them getting a stage each. There you go. And then New Donk City and Great Plateau Tower. I mean, Breath of the Wild was practically guaranteed a stage.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's such a big game, and it's been in development since Smash for Wii U was working on.
Yeah.
So, and then New Donk City. I mean, it was Mario. Mario always gets the priority treatment here, and Mario Odyssey was such a big success that a New Donk City stage just makes a lot of sense. So I understand why those 4. It is a shame that we probably won't get a Sun and Moon stage. Yeah. And to be honest, we don't really... And a lot of people like King K. Rool and Ridley didn't get stages, but we already have Norfair, so Ridley's already got his home stage. And we've already got like 3 Donkey Kong Country stages. So there's plenty for DK. I mean, for King K. Rool to
work with. Yeah.
Just depends on who the other characters are, but if it is, let's say, Ken and Shadow, Ken won't get his own unique stage, but Shadow can have Windy Hill Zone because there are 2 Sonic stages. And if we get Isabelle, then there's like 3 Animal Crossing levels, so it doesn't really matter if she gets a new one. And then if we do get another Pokemon, well, there's like the same amount of Pokemon as there are Pokemon stages. If you count if you count Pokemon Trainer as one character as a whole. There is the exact same amount of Pokemon characters in some stages.
I didn't realise. I thought Pokemon had more.
Pointless fact. There you go. And the only Pokemon stage missing is Poker Floats.
Right. I'm just happy Spear Pillar is back. I love that stage in Brawl. So it's good to see that back.
I'm interested to see what happens if Palkia appears on Spear Pillar and then you get Palkia in a Pokeball.
Oh, damn. That's true.
I have a feeling that Palkia of Pokeball probably won't be allowed to appear on this stage. Same for if you're on Great Bay, I reckon the moon
Tingle
probably can't appear.
Yeah.
But like, if you're on Green Hill, Knuckles can't appear or something.
Right.
But it is funny just because fucking Palkia and Palkia. It's like just go back to normal.
Wait. Anyway. Moving from one big number to another big number. Music tracks. By golly, over 800 music tracks. Rounded up to around 900 when fanfares and the like are included.
Yeah, these are going to be compressed as all heck. Like to fit on one cartridge, that's ridiculous.
That must be like a new record, like for gaming in general, surely.
Probably. I'd be curious to see what the game has the largest OST so far, but this could very well be hitting that point.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm very hyped for that, because I do like video game music. Always try and get the first track, not the first track, just trying to be one of the first. As soon as I wake up every Wednesday, go straight to the Smash site,
Well, this is like, if it's not double, it's nearly double the amount of songs that were in Smash for Wii U.
Yeah, that's like...
It's crazy.
The thing is, as well, was like I'm looking forward to the fact that Street Fighter has more than just Ryu's and Ken's theme, so I'm really hoping for Guile's theme.
Oh, I'm sure it has Guile's theme.
It has to
there
be.
is no way it's not having Guile's theme.
But like saying that, I'm still a bit disappointed. Like Final Fantasy seems to only have two.
Yeah,
I think that's disappointing.
That's Square being Square. I mean, it kind of one of my predictions for this game was that we'd get Dragon Quest stuff, and a lot of people are expecting Geno. But the fact that Final Fantasy is getting we haven't seen any assist trophy for Final Fantasy yet. It's the only third-party series that we haven't seen assist trophy for. Oh, and Street Fighter, I guess, but that could still get Chun-Li. But it's a bit like, oh, okay, I guess either Square's being really fussy with letting them have content or charging lots of money for it, or again, maybe the gains just don't justify it. Like,
but like,
sucks.
you're working with Smash though, you know, I can't see why you would say no. It's like this point, like we didn't even really get like any remixes of classic tunes, though.
No, again,
that was
like,
surprising.
I feel like this is all Square being really, because Square's very tight on how it's on its IPs and them being used in other games. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was like Sakurai got the bare minimum to get Clouding because he really wanted Cloud, and the bare minimum to reference Geno, and then that was it. Like, it's just not worth going any further than that.
I think even with like characters like Ridley and K. Rool getting in, I think that doesn't lessen the chance of Geno, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Geno is like the big last one that people were expecting, even if he's a bit of a non-character personally.
Right.
But with Square being Square, maybe we'll get Geno as an assist trophy, but I can't see him as a playable character.
I feel like he's not. I think he's deserving of at least an assist trophy.
Yeah.
Mainly because, like, as a character, I would actually say probably not, but because of such the high demand, I think he should be referenced in some way. Because I think alongside Ridley and K. Rool, I think Geno has been up there.
Oh yeah, Geno's been wanted since like Melee, and he's been wanted longer than and louder than Ridley almost. It's only Smash 4 where people started giving up on Geno because it had been so long and he'd never been acknowledged. That it was seen as a pipe dream until Sakurai acknowledged him. And suddenly now everyone wants Geno.
Anyway, but yeah, you know, over 800 music tracks. I'm liking all like the details and stuff. You know, you could put them in playlists. The series, I'm liking that a stage can have any song from that stage's series.
Yeah, I'm of two minds of that. I like it. At the same time, it means that we can't get like the Wonderful 101 theme on Mario Galaxy anymore, or we can't get the Golden Sun theme on the Fire Emblem Colosseum anymore.
I don't think that's what it necessarily means. I think it's only if. So I think the Wonderful 101 can still exist in Mario Galaxy. I just don't think it can be transferred to other Mario stages like Good at Galaxy may.
We'll have to see more. See, the way I think they've sorted out the music, because if you look at the music and it's all split by series, Mario has 2 sections, and then series like Ice Climbers, Duck Hunt, and Rob don't have any music logos on there, but they have songs. They both have like 2 songs each, but they're just being put into the other section now. So what that implies to me is that because obviously Balloon Fight music could work really well on Summit.
Right.
They've just those symbols are showing how the music is separated in this game. So the first Mario is like Mario platformers, and then the second one is Mario spin-offs, so Mario Kart, Paper Mario, and stuff. Then you have each series, and then other is just for stuff like Pilot Wings, Wrecking Crew, Ice Summit, and Duck Hunt stage. And if they're actively splitting it like that and segregating off those 3, I don't feel like there's going to be any crossover between. I mean, I would like to be wrong, and ultimately I don't think it matters too much, because I think the Wonderful 101 theme would still be there. It's just that, yeah, they're now segregating it so only music from this series can appear on this stage.
I think that is actually pretty good logic. From where I'm coming from though, there's only like so few stages that like are not represented by like that aren't represented by a fighter. So like, so I'm looking at it now. So you've got Hannonbo. I'm sorry. Yeah, I never know that game.
Hannonbo's gonna be a weird one because I mean the whole point of that is that the music causes the tadpoles to jump up there.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure like if it works with any song. It's like, how's that gonna work?
The other thing, well, We've got Balloon Fight as well, actually. Balloon Fight, the Nintendog's Living Room, Street Pass Quest, Tomodachi Life, and Pick the Chat 2.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, so are you thinking that like those stages will have all of the other music then?
Yes, those are the stages that will have all the same tracks as each other.
Okay.
And I mean, you'll get to customize it, obviously. So what I'll probably do is this Mushroom Kingdom 2. I'll pick the songs that I feel from the Mario series fit that stage, and then just turn the rest of them off.
Yeah, I do about that. Yeah.
I'll work my way through that, and knowing me, I'll probably make it really thematic. So if this song is from the first Super Mario Brothers, it goes on. If it's not, then they're all off.
Yeah.
And Peach's Castle can only have Mario 64 music and stuff like that. But yeah, no, that's I think all the other stages, Woohoo Island, Pilot Wings, Wrecking
those two as well.
They'll all just be part of the miscellaneous.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that actually. Yeah, okay. Anyway, but still, 800 music, 28 hours. By golly.
Oh yeah, 28 hours of music, and you can all listen to it while your Switch is on sleep mode.
I love that feature.
Your giant MP3 player.
Yeah. And again, like playlists as well. Right, and then moving on. I'm happy they dedicated a lot of time during the second half of the presentation to new modes and stuff.
Yeah, new modes and rules.
Yeah. So it's like rules. You could use your most recently used one.
Yes, you can make presets so that you don't have to sort that every time.
Which is good for like tournaments and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, stamina mode is now a default mode, which I actually really like.
Yes.
I love that.
And
I love
it has
that the final Smash meter is also like a thing they've added.
Yeah.
Where you can build, which just makes it like a regular fighting game. Which means I could see that being a fun mode to play, where you put on final Smash meter, you put on stamina, and then play like you would like any other fighting game.
Yeah. Oh,
like
man,
I could see tournaments for fun being based around that.
I think touching on stamina, I'm glad that like you can now have stocks with stamina.
Yeah.
Because like before, it's like I always loved the idea of having HP instead of like the normal percent, but they're always over so quickly.
Oh yeah, they were.
That's like a bit
It's like, okay, it's done. This is a good 10-second fight.
But now you could technically have more HP with stocks. That's really cool. It's Final Smash Mania. The thing that I'm slightly worried though is like, it says that like you have weaker Final Smashes.
Yeah.
So the one floating around is like the fact that like Marth still seems to have a one-hit KO though.
I saw that. Yeah, weaker,
exactly.
but it still does a ton of damage.
So that's the thing I was slightly worried about. Like, whereas others are getting weakened, ones like Marth's or probably Bowser's as well.
Ones like the one-hit KO is like Bowser. Because I think Bowser's is a one-hit KO. Marth's is Zelda's is if they're above 100%. I wonder how that works in stamina mode. They just instantly die.
Oh.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I forgot that Bowser's was like an instant KO.
Because they knock out the screen.
Yeah. Is Ridley's an instant KO? I'm trying to think.
I wouldn't say so. I think Bayonetta's is an instant KO above 100% as well.
Yeah.
Judging if it does function the same as in Smash 4.
Yeah, I think it does. Considering Zelda's now does that as well, they can't imagine they would have taken it out of Bayonetta's. I think Bayonetta's functionally very similar to how she was in Smash 4.
I wonder then how Peach's would work, unless she has a new Final Smash.
I think she might have a new Final Smash.
I hope
Peach
so.
and Daisy, yeah.
Because Peach is more like support orientated, isn't it?
Peach seems to have like the only support orientated Final Smash left. Like,
that's true.
If there were any others, I think they have been changed.
Yeah. But yeah, I think is a handful. So like, it's only a handful of characters that have one-hit KOs, but it's still something that's slightly worrying.
Yeah.
Unless like the deficit is like they take longer to charge up, you know.
Possibly. I don't know how it's balanced. Yeah. Hopefully, yeah.
But yeah, so that's Final Smash. Which again, you know, it's just cool that's happening. You know, I think that's been a highly requested feature. So it's good to see that getting recognised. The ones I'm looking forward to though are Squad Strike and Smashdown.
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
god! I've been waiting for Scotch Strike for ages, pretty much. Originally I was hoping for like you could at least set the number of stocks though. Um,
Yeah, that's a bit. You can only do 3 to 5, and it's not quite clear whether or not the match just continues and your next character appears, like in Project M, or whether or not it takes you to another screen and then,
hmm.
because in the direct it had like go to a screen, then the characters move down, and I
it
don't know if that's a setting or just a part of it. It
I,
wasn't very clear.
I think it is, or at least in the UK one, it says each player will use 3 or 5 consecutive fighters in one battle. So they will act
Yeah,
like stocks, which I'm really looking forward to.
yeah. I'm
Um,
hoping it's just an option, like it's like that you can do the stocks, and then what they were showing in the direct is like if you want to do it where you pass the controller
yeah.
around, that's the screen to do it on.
Hmm, that's a fair point. Um, the other one is Smashdown, which is sort of like a different version of the Iron Man challenge.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Which is pretty cool. So for those that don't know, the Iron Man challenge sees you go through the entire Smash roster. If you win, you move on to the next character. If you lose, I believe you stay on the same character.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so. You have to get to the very end.
yeah. So Smashdown acts sort of similar. You do go through the whole roster. However, if a character has already been played, they're locked out for good. So it doesn't matter
Mm.
if you win or lose. You're just locked out
Yeah.
altogether. Um, I like this, and again, I don't like this. I don't like this because I was hoping for an Iron Man style challenge, but at the same time, I do like the strategy that they mentioned. It's like, oh, you may want to select a fighter that they might not, they may be
hmm
skilled at, and lock that out. So I
Yeah.
can see a lot of fun things happening with that. But I'm
I
just happy that like we're getting like bigger, like fun modes like this.
yeah.
You know.
Well, Smashdown's actually the mode that most interests me.
Mm,
From all the ones that they showed up, I actually really like this idea.
yeah.
But there are a few questions it brings up, which I talked about in the discussion I did on our channel.
Right.
But for those who haven't listened to that, what's interesting with Smashdown is I think it might be a mode you have to unlock, and I think it might be a
Okay.
mode that's actually turned on in the rules, like that stage morph thing, which I know we didn't talk about, where 2 stages fuse
Oh
into each
yes.
other.
Yeah, yeah.
But like that's something you have to toggle on and off in the rules, and I think Smashdown's the same.
Oh really?
Because if you look at the menus that they showed off,
Hmm.
you can see Squad Strike is an option there along with Smash and Tournament mode, but Smashdown isn't an option.
Right.
And when you sit down and think about it, we're cutting through characters. Let's say you're playing an 8-player game of Smash. If you do that when you first start the game up, what's the point in playing Smashdown?
Hmm.
There are only 8 characters to start with. You're just gonna go through all of them in one game, and then suddenly you're back to the beginning. And it's
Right.
like I have a feeling it might be a mode that unlocks itself after you've unlocked every character, and then you can play Smashdown. Because then you'll have something like close to 70 something characters.
Hmm.
So doing 4-man smashes. I mean, like with 8 characters, you could do, if you're doing 8-player smash, you could do 10 fights before you run out of characters. Let's assume it gets to 80, so that makes sense. So if you're doing 4-player matches, that's 20 fights you get to do.
Hmm.
And that only works if you've unlocked everyone at that point. Otherwise, the number really dwindles. And what if you get to a situation where you actually don't have 4 characters left? Can you just not do a 4-player smash then, or does it just reset? Like,
That's a fair point.
hmm.
Maybe,
So yeah.
I'm thinking in that scenario, I think it would just cut out. Because I think it would because like even if it does reset, do they reset every character then?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I assume
Hmm.
if it resets, it would reset all the characters that have been used. I can't see it resetting the first set, because otherwise you just start repeating matches again.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's quite fair. Yeah.
so that's a lot of matches. It just means you have to unlock the mode as like how you used to have to unlock
Hmm.
advanced rules in previous games.
Yeah. Still, yeah, I do like that. It would give like a bit of incentive for unlocking, because I think the only thing we know that we have to unlock are the fighters, because stages are given to us right from the get-go.
hmm
Hopefully we will be able to unlock some music as well. Um,
Maybe. I have a
maybe.
feeling we won't. I think we
Yeah.
might start with every stage and every music track, but you have to
That would
unlock the
make
characters.
sense. Yeah.
That's my thought. And then some modes you'll have to unlock, like All-Star mode and Smashdown maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I quite like that idea. I think. Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think looking at that, because it wouldn't make sense to have like Smashdown but only have 8 characters,
Yeah.
at the start. So I think it will be maybe something like, oh, you've finally broken past 50 characters, now Smashdown is available.
Yeah, I could see it like that.
I think that's a fair idea. But yeah, Smashdown looks pretty cool. Moving on, assist trophies, items, and Pokemon. Great selection. I was a bit heartbroken to see Shovel Knight. It's a glass case of emotions there.
I'm just glad to see him.
Yeah.
Personally, like Shovel Knight for me, assist trophy was the best chance he was going to have at being in the game, because I mean, it's not a matter. A lot of people have been like, "Oh, you shouldn't have indie characters in the game," blah 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 blah. But it's not about being indie. It's about what you've done. And Shovel Knight, as popular as he is right now, and as much as he's in like everything, he's still like very minor character when compared to all of them. Even like Bayonetta. Bayonetta's still a series that I think has sold more than Shovel Knight has, and has been around longer and is a bigger part of game. Actually,
so say
I would have said that a few years ago. Maybe not nowadays. Maybe Shovel Knight has kind of risen a bit more. It's hard to say, really. I still think Bayonetta might have sold a bit more than Shovel Knight. But my point is, Shovel Knight's not really on the same level as the likes of Mega Man and Simon Belmont and stuff. But his series was published by Nintendo in Japan.
So do you have that history? And like, it was the first third-party amiibo.
Yes, it was. So, that's, again, the same sort of reason, because it was published by Nintendo. They got access to the amiibo. It's Nintendo exclusive out there. It's kind of like they've been very loyal to Nintendo. Shovel Knight is sold best on Nintendo. It plays like an old Nintendo game. Like, they are very much connected to him, which is why it's good to see. Like, I fully expected Shovel Knight music, and perhaps even a Shovel Knight trophy, just like how Rayman got a trophy. But seeing him get an assist trophy is really something special.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, it's weird seeing him actually just being an assist trophy. I still find that more unbelievable than seeing like Ridley and K. Rool in Smash. It's weird. Like, whenever I just see the image of Shovel Knight in Smash, it's just like, this exists.
Yeah, it's like, wow, this is not a mod. This is something. It does make me want to see some other smaller series like Shantae get some kind of representation.
I think Shantae does deserve an assist trophy. I think now that Shovel Knight isn't a fighter, I think I would feel just a tad bit better if Shantae was given a fighter role.
No, I don't think she should get a fighter role. But I think Shantae is deserving of an assist trophy role, and then Quote maybe from Cave Story, but I could also just see Quote being a Mii fighter costume for Mii Gunner.
Well, that could work.
And those are like the 3 trifecta of indie that I think should get a spot somewhere in Smash, excluding Steve, who's not really an indie character anymore, but
no, he's on another plane.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's like he's probably the most likely now, but at the same time, is probably like the one nobody really wants. No, I haven't seen anybody seriously push for Steve in Minecraft. It's weird.
I've seen a few people push for Steve in Minecraft, but that's because they're all like people who kind of acknowledge they both like Minecraft and acknowledge that it's such a big series that it should totally get a character in Smash.
I think it is.
We got a Dream Smasher for Steve from Minecraft, which was given to us by a guest. So there are people out there who want to see him.
That's a fair point.
I don't think it happened, but there are people out there.
But still, it's like that's what I'm liking about assist trophies. It's like you got Zero from Mega Man X.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Nikki.
Nikki. Oh my god, that's so weird. Cap'n as well. Cap'n.
Cap'n's I love. It's got the best.
It throws you off.
Kidnaps people.
Seeing Cap'n actually makes me more confident that we will be getting Isabelle as a fighter.
Yeah.
I know it's a stupid thing to say, but it's the same thing with like Knuckles being in this trophy, I guess.
Yeah, it's like we lost Mr. Rossetti in Brawl and got Isabelle, and now we're losing Isabelle and getting Cap'n.
Yeah. But Isabelle will be promoted, I think.
Yeah, Isabelle will be promoted, unlike Mr. Rossetti, he'll just be gone.
I do want Mr. Rossetti to be back, though. Like, everyone hates him, but I just... he's misunderstood. God. He just cares about the good of your save file. That's all. But yeah, items as well. Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
liking a couple.
yeah, the only thing I can really say about items is that I'm glad Fire Emblem has one now.
Yes, and it came with the critical sound effect as well.
Yeah,
So cool.
like that was a cool one because I feel like Fire Emblem gets a lot of characters and a lot of people don't like that, but it usually gets like
nothing else.
Ruined in every other department. Barely any trophies, no items. It has less. There are less Fire Emblem stages than there are Earthbound stages. So it's like and less than F-Zero, and about the same as. In fact, yeah, it's the same as Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem have the same amount of stages, but Fire Emblem's been there for 2 games more than Animal Crossing has. So it's like, what's going on there?
I think like in a similar way as like people were saying, oh, why are there so many Fire Emblem characters? It's like because Fire Emblem characters are easier to vision as fighters. I feel.
Yeah.
Like they may all use swords, but like they're easy to vision as fighters. Let's say like Isabelle, or like I see a lot of people requesting Crash, but like Crash may be harder to actually.
Yeah, because they're human characters, they already fight naturally in their games. They've got weapons. They're much easier to picture, and of course, it also helps that because of the way Fire Emblem's about with their classes and all that, it makes it's logical sense that Marth, Roy, Lucina, and Chrom could all fight very similarly to each other.
Yeah, and I think, and so we're playing, let's say, logic to stages. You haven't got iconic locations. I feel from Fire Emblem, but like would actually be good stages.
Yeah.
One idea I had was like that one stage from Fire Emblem Fates where Corrin makes his decision.
So actually that is an iconic stage. Yeah, my thoughts for Fire Emblem for Fates was like the Dragon Temple, or maybe the sky. You know, there's the area in the sky that's a big part of Revelations.
Yeah.
Like that's quite
work. Yeah.
Yeah, that would work really well. But
that'd be neat.
Yeah, and like in Awakening, Arena Ferox is really the only iconic area in that game because it's where the scene of Chrom and Lucina fighting is.
But it's like stuff like like Castle Siege, I think that's just pretty much on the original stage, isn't it?
Yeah, Castle Siege and Colosseum are just based on ideas from Fire Emblem rather than actual locations.
So like stuff like Earthbound, there's clearly like a lot more locales that they could use.
Yeah, because there are places that go to that people remember. You don't remember map 2, chapter 5 of Fire Emblem: The Binding Blade.
You never know.
Like the only one that I feel like would work is the very, very first Fire Emblem stage, that the island of Arcania, I think it's called. Like because it's the very first place, and it's just one location, and it's the very first map. I think that would have made a really good level for Marth.
Could do.
But it's also from Marth's game, which is like really, really old now. So I don't really see it getting any focus.
Yeah, anyway, moving on, items and assist trophies in Pokemon.
Yeah.
My heart went out. My heart goes out to all the Mimikyu supporters.
Thank you.
To be honest, like in a way, I was kind of relieved because I'm a Decidueye supporter myself. So seeing that, seeing Mimikyu got deconfirmed was a bit of little victory. It's like yes, so Decidueye is still on the cards.
It's alright, I already accepted that Incineroar would be the one to get in, so...
Oh, really? Yeah, everyone's blowing up about Incineroar now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I first saw the video of Roger's Base doing it, I think. And since then I've seen it blow up like everywhere else.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird history, because everyone obviously wanted Decidueye, and then everyone was saying Decidueye and Mimikyu and Lycanroc.
Lycanroc I still don't understand. Lycanroc I never understood, to be honest.
So it's all about like people just grasping at why other characters were chosen, but the thing with Incineroar is he's a starter poke. People didn't want him because he was a fire type, and he was another generic fighter, and some people thought he'd be too similar to like Captain Falcon. Which, to be fair, I did as well. I mean, I had that because they're both big, muscly, and use fire.
Right.
So, and I thought Decidueye or Mimikyu would be more unique. But when you actually look, like Incineroar in the anime is the Pokemon that Ash is going to eventually get, just like how he got Greninja. And the latest Pokemon movie, I think, is what put in a lot of people. The Incineroar's like one of the main baddies of the latest Pokemon movie.
Yeah, it's like so he was the main Pokemon of Ash's rival in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Incineroar had a big role there. He's again the starter anime, and then a lot of people started realizing, well, actually, we don't have any wrestlers or grapple characters or anything in Smash yet. So what if like Incineroar is his whole because grapple characters are a big part of fighting games. What if Incineroar is like the first grapple character where all of his moves are based around you doing proper wrestling moves, grabbing opponents and all that, which people wanted for Travis Touchdown.
Right.
If he ever got in. But Incineroar being a heel wrestler, he also fits that heroes versus villains thing because he's a heel wrestler, he's a villain.
Right. I can see that.
Yeah, that's what
I'd
convinced
be fun with
me
either,
that.
To be honest.
That's what convinced me that Incineroar would be in, and then when Mimikyu got deconfirmed, I properly jumped onto the Incineroar train now.
I was originally thinking Decidueye mainly so we could have like that trifecta of like grass, fire, and water starters fully evolved. So you got Greninja, you got Charizard, so maybe you get Decidueye as well.
Yeah.
But now you sort of got that with the Pokemon Trainer returning, with Squirtle and Ivysaur coming back
Yeah,
as
it
well.
kind of already does that, so it's a bit like you don't necessarily need it. And the issue with Decidueye as well is another reason why Incineroar was so popular is that when they did a popularity poll, Rowlet was like the most popular Pokemon, but Decidueye, the start and Decidueye is less popular than Incineroar, Lycanroc, Mimikyu, Primarina, Tapu Koko. Like Decidueye isn't that popular of a Pokemon. Rowlet is, but not Decidueye.
Okay.
So with that in mind as well, I think a lot of people
we'll be getting Rowlet.
Slowly yeah, we'll be getting Rowlet. It's a Jigglypuff echo.
Oh no. Yeah. It's like the thing I wonder though is like I wonder if like Sakurai, you know, we're talking about like development started around about late 2015, right? December 2015,
yes.
Early 20. Yeah. So I wonder like if Sakurai must have at least got final design similar to Greninja.
Oh yeah, he would have. By that point, he probably would have because Pokemon X and Sun and Moon was like what a year? No.
Yeah, like at that point,
yes, a year off.
So he must have been able to, but would he actually been able to feel the like? Well, maybe. I think going along the idea of like the grapple character, I think from a design standpoint, I think Sakurai would be more inclined for that actually.
Yeah, I think Primarina's it had issues of being difficult to visualize, being like a mermaid and not having feet and not really being able to jump.
Right.
But between Incineroar and Decidueye, I can see appeals for both of them. So it depends on what he wants to go for. And if a grapple character is more interesting than another ranged archer, then Incineroar over Decidueye. Personally, Tapu Koko is the one that makes the most sense to me. Because he's really important in both the games and anime, and is a legendary, and is a fighting type, and like is unique looking.
That's true. I feel like
he's not starter, so
I feel like it's not like to the games though. I still feel like Incineroar and Decidueye are like just generally more iconic though.
Yeah, it's because they're starter Pokemon.
Yeah.
They'll be what you end up with.
But yeah, like either Incineroar or Decidueye, I'm fine with either of those, you know. Be moving on. Just a couple more. The menu. Looking clean. I'm liking it.
Looks like a mobile phone.
Yeah.
Menu. Which looks a lot nicer than Smash 4's. I'm gonna have to see what the inside of Games and More looks like.
Well, thankfully the default is outside of it, and the settings as well.
Yes.
So at least that's more
challenges
clear.
On the outside.
Yeah. So hopefully, it is more clearer. Like I remember seeing Games and More first because it's like, oh no, not again. But at least Vault finally has its own section, which is really deserved.
Yeah, it's good to see Vault on the outside. I'm wondering what's going to be in Vault. Like trophies or stickers come back? Will they have something new entirely? Is this where custom moves will be if they're back?
I feel like custom moves would be in Games and More though, because you got like that spanner in Games and More.
Yeah, customs feels like it does make sense there. You're right, but my music's probably involved.
Right.
And masterpieces probably involved.
I think masterpieces would be in the vault. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm liking the dashboard as well. It's quite simple to get it, like the settings and the I think the middle icon with the switch connecting to something. I think that would be for local play.
Yeah, I think so as well.
But yeah, it's just looking really clean. I'm liking it.
Yeah, I like the thing on the side, on the right side, with the hot links basically to allows you to quickly jump between areas. I think that's really good for, like, if you're all the way in Games and More and you want to do Smash, you don't have to go all the way back to the main menu to do it. You just jump over there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the blurred out one is to do with the blurred out image on the home. The spirits mode, as everyone is calling it now.
Yeah. I think maybe it could do, but why would spirits have to be there in the first place, though? That's the thing.
Don't know. It depends what the mode is. It's really hard to say without knowing at all what the mode is about.
Yeah. But yeah, the menu looks pretty cool. And so to wrap off this meaty section, King K. Rool, finally, probably the best, probably the most entertaining trailer we've ever had for Smash, probably.
Oh yeah, King Dedede. Best, confirming he's best character.
I'm just liking all the reactions. And during the moment, it's like, yes, it's finally happening. And it's just like, oh,
it's Sakurai laughing at us through King Dedede.
that just encompasses Sakurai just so brilliantly, though. Like that is just peak Sakurai.
I love it. It was a really good trailer. Like when you see all the heroes and villains. I think everyone kind of clocked that it must be King K. Rool.
I was thinking, when I saw the heroes and villains, I was thinking of the story mode.
I think some people possibly thought that as well.
But then when I saw the TV going off and just seeing Donkey Kong's mouth, it was like, oh yeah, it's time. It's time. Yeah.
Yeah, King K. Rool. King K. Rool's an interesting one for me because like I almost didn't put him on my list.
Really.
Yeah, and like in the end, I was like, nah, there's no way they won't have King K. Rool. Come on now. So I threw him on there, but it was just like, yeah, he's clearly in here because he was such a popular pick in Smash for Wii U. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure he probably did get the top vote in the ballot. He just didn't fit DLC. Yeah. That's why he got a fighter costume instead. Like, and that's why he got in here. Because otherwise, King K. Rool's not like, a lot of people really want him. But he's not like relevant that much. He doesn't fit the usual mold of characters. Like if you look at all the other villains, Ganondorf, Bowser, Wolf, you see them very early on in the games. Yeah. Wolf you see on the second level. Ganondorf you see in like one of the opening cutscenes. Yeah. Bowser's at the end of every world and loads of spin-offs. But King K. Rool's at least in the original, it's always only at the very end.
Right.
Never see him before then. And because of that, and Donkey Kong's are hard games to beat through. So I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who played the Donkey Kong Country games and never ever met King K. Rool. Which is why I don't think he was considered very much compared to all the other villains. Like even Ridley, you see right at the beginning of Super Metroid, right at the beginning of Metroid Prime.
Right.
But not King K. Rool. But now he's in because people wanted him in, and Sakurai's listening to people this time. So there you go.
I'm just liking how he's being represented. So of course, like a lot of the main Donkey Kong games, but I just like his design in general. You know, like you compare it to like I'd say the mid 2000s K. Rool design. You got like just the plain green, and his belly seems to be like part of his flesh, whereas like his render here seems heavily inspired by the rare Donkey Kong Country games. Yeah,
it's like a nice mixture between the two. He looks like, because the rare Donkey Kong games, he looked really like over the top and crazy, whereas they made him slightly more sane looking when Rare left.
Yeah.
But they've gone for a nice like in between. I think he's still got the big bulgy eye, but it's not nearly as red. His crown isn't gigantic.
Yeah.
But it's still big enough that it fits.
He's scaly and stuff, and his belly is gold.
Yeah, he's got, but he's
cool.
got the traditional armor and the nicer, darker green scales.
And it's got a really sassy pose for his really.
He does
I actually love that.
sassy
I know.
pose.
He's out shopping for groceries.
It just makes me think that Sakurai watched the Donkey Kong Country cartoon. That's what this is from.
We're getting the old banana slammer.
Yeah.
That's the thing we need.
That Donkey Kong cartoon has a manga in Japan, so I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, I have
so
the
that
first.
manga isn't like just out of the franchise as a whole; it's out of that actual cartoon. Jesus
it's like
Christ.
I have I have the first volume of it. It's definitely from that cartoon because not only does it have some of the same storylines, it also has that original Kong, Bluster Kong,
right,
with the mustache.
Oh. He's
in the manga as well, so it's definitely based on that show.
Wow, jeez, oh. If we can just get like at least one reference to that show, that's just like next level stuff.
We need a taunt that's just a King K. Rool doing a dance from that show. That's all I need.
Love is like a golden banana. There we go. Get that music track in. Yeah, like I think that wraps it up a bit. I don't think we can really do like the what we've been playing section anymore because we've talked too long yet again. If you're new to this, don't worry. This is normal procedure in our show. We normally go over a long thing anyway. But still, yeah, very pleased with this direct. I'm seeing like a couple of people thinking about how many more we will be getting before the game's release.
Alright, here's what I think.
Right.
We'll get a regular Nintendo Direct, as we were saying earlier, because we kind of need one. That will show off, other Nintendo games, but there'll be a Smash reveal in that one for one of the newcomers.
Yeah.
Whether it be Pokemon, whether it be Isabelle, it depends. I could see them starting with Isabelle and then announcing Animal Crossing Switch at the end of the Direct or something like that. Just something that kind of relates, but a newcomer, not an Echo.
Yeah.
And then in October, November time, I could see them announcing the last two Echoes and the last newcomer.
Yeah.
And then going into details on what that spirit mode is and stuff like that. And maybe announcing either DLC or a demo at the end of that Direct.
I don't think they could announce DLC. I think if they announce DLC, I think it would be partly free. It's sort of like Mewtwo.
Yeah, well,
Mewtwo was slightly free because if you bought both versions. So I think it'd be something like that.
I don't know if they would do that this time, just because I don't know what would justify it to be free. But the reason what happened with Mewtwo before is that Mewtwo was going to be the only DLC and was going to be just like a special thank you for people who bought both. And then they decided that actually people who didn't buy both shouldn't be locked out of Mewtwo, so we'll make him paid. And then if they were going to do paid DLC anyway, they may as well continue it. And they decided then, we'll just do DLC. But this time around, they've already done DLC before, and Sakurai said that he likes doing DLC. So, because it's far more relaxing. Yeah. So, unless he decides that he's really sick of Smash Brothers at this point, I could see them just being more confident this time and being like, okay, the game's gone gold, it's time to look at DLC. Let's announce the first one.
Right.
It's Waluigi. I don't know.
I think, to be honest, I would be fine if this game doesn't have DLC. Because, I mean...
It's already a lot,
Yeah. I just don't want him to go through any more Smash for a while.
Yeah, I think I want to see him make something new. But at the same time, I'm always up for more Smash. Oh,
yeah, we all are. But I don't want it to come at a great cost of his health,
If he can work on Smash DLC while directing his own original title and taking his time on that, then...
That would be fine.
Go for it.
And getting just relaxing a lot. That's fine. That's all I care about more than any newcomer. So, from what you're implying about how the announcements are going, do you think we'll only be getting about a handful of proper newcomers then?
Yeah, I think
two.
At minimum, 2 newcomers and 2 Echo Fighters. I would like to see. I would like to see 3 Echoes and 3 newcomers. My main reason is if, say, Incineroar and Isabelle are the only 2 newcomers left, I don't think either of them are hype enough characters to
be
end
the
on.
final one, yeah.
Like, that would have gone to Simon or King K. Rool. Like, I could have seen King K. Rool be the final character they reveal, because that's, like, amazingly exciting. As opposed to Isabelle and Incineroar, especially if they announce one of them at a regular direct, then it'd be like, this is the final Smash Direct, and they announce one newcomer, and it was Incineroar.
Yeah, it's really exciting, but yeah, it's not like the big thing like Ridley or K. Rool.
Of course, if they then ended on DLC and announced like Banjo-Kazooie or Waluigi are going to be the first DLC fighter, then that's a different story. Because while the last newcomer in the base game is a bit of a low point, you're confirming that there is high points still to come, and I think people wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to do that, then I feel like there needs to be one other character, whether it's Bandana D or Gino or Dixie Kong, which is not an Echo fighter, like someone who's really, really highly requested, but not third party, to be the final announcement.
Yeah, I feel like it is hard to think of like who is still there in terms of like already announced franchises that are representing Smash. Because the only ones, like, I guess Skull Kid maybe, but then again, he wouldn't really be too hype.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, people like Skull Kid, but I don't think he would be big on there. Like, I'm trying to think of the big ones. I mean, the big one for Smash is Gino, obviously, because that's, as we discussed, he's been around.
Gino's technically third party, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and so is Banjo, but Banjo would also be really hyped because he's been really requested. And then from first party, Bandana D's the next big one, because even though some people don't see him as big, he is like the fourth Kirby character. He's really popular in Japan. He is heavily requested. Now that King K. Rool's done, ignoring Waluigi, who's obviously already confirmed to be an assist, Bandana D is the next highest requested character.
I think it is weird that, like, do you think we're gonna get any off the wall choices? Because I feel like so far with Smash Ultimate, all like the proper newcomers have been actually highly requested, high profile characters.
Yeah.
Whereas like with Smash Wii U, we had ones like Duck Hunt Dog and Wii Fit Trainer. You know.
Yeah. I would like to. I'd really like to see something like Lip or Labo Man or
Labo Man would be pretty neat.
Discun or Sakurai himself. I don't know. Like, that would be cool to see. I just, with the focus on being the ultimate game and picking up a lot of fan requests, I feel like we won't get an off the wall character. I feel like every newcomer is going to be some sort of character that people really wanted.
Because, like, you know, Inkling, you know, people do want, but I think Inkling was going to be locked anyway.
Inkling was always going to happen.
Someone's been probably requested for a very long time, and then Ridley and Kerry Rool probably made the most noise.
Yeah. And then Chrom was a popular pick, Daisy was a popular pick, Dark Samus was a popular Metroid character.
Alright.
And, like, Shadow's a popular pick. Ken, I suppose he's popular in the Street Fighter series.
So I think Echo would be like the reserve choice for off the wall picks.
Yeah, like I mean, maybe Echo could be a spot play somewhere that we see something bizarre. But even then, I can't think what would be it, because they'd have to be an off the wall pick that's also a character we've got a moveset behind.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure who it could be from what we've got, unless they somehow make like the Game Boy from Mr. Game & Watch or something. Or Toon Pit.
Right. A Toon Pit. It's just based off the Captain N. A cartoon.
Exactly.
Oh, God. Right, so I'd say that wraps it up for this section. So we'll probably skip over the what have we been playing, because this podcast is already too long.
Yeah.
So let's move into our final section. So this is the final section of the podcast now, which is mainly for shoutouts and questions. I guess I have I of course have the big shout out mainly for our guest, but let's save that for right to the end. I have a couple of questions. One is for Switch Player. I believe I've shouted out to them before. Mainly, they're a Patreon-supported magazine covering all sorts of Nintendo Switch goodness, like features, reviews, all that stuff. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say, but I did pitch an idea for a feature, and apparently it may be in the next issue of Switch Player.
You'll find out on August 23rd.
Hopefully, hopefully. But that's what I was told. So if not this issue, next issue. Firstly, for this episode, it's all about Smash Brothers. The 5 features I want to see in Super Smash Brothers. So this was written, I think, before the start of July. So it is quite old. So if you do manage to catch up to that, then please bear in mind. So I am hoping, but it's pretty big because I haven't had anything. Well, I have had something in a magazine before, but that was like for a little bit in O&M because it was asking for readers' opinions and stuff. And
Nice.
So actually getting like a proper feature in the magazine is pretty exciting. So hopefully that is coming in this issue coming up. If not, just follow me on Twitter at Acegibbo, ACEGIBBO, just in case. Or even better, Switch Player. Because they do generally good stuff. Very hard working. They try to review like every Switch game.
Yeah,
So
all
that,
the big ones
yeah.
that they've got. I've got the latest issue right in front of me.
And even smaller titles as well. So like their dedication are definitely can't go unpraised. The other one is probably because Jack cannot be with us, so I am gonna try my best to promote Southampton Games Fest. So if you're in the Southampton general area, I guess, for Saturday, 6th of October of this year, it's just a mainly festival about games and stuff. Here we go. Hampshire's biggest gaming event is back and bigger than ever. We're taking on several venues across Beauvoir Valley, all within a 5-minute walk of each other. So there'll be a lot of stuff there, cosplay, tournaments and stuff like that, different exhibitors. I know Beat Saber, which is a VR rhythm game, will be there, and as well as tournaments for Mario Kart 8 and Overwatch. You can buy tickets right now, they're only £8 for the day, so definitely good price for what is probably going to be pretty exciting. And we may be there. I know Jack is organising it, but we may be doing a live episode there as well, so maybe it's on the cards. I know Jack wants to do it, so maybe something. So you can check that out in the description below if you do want to check that out. Alright, so that's it for my shoutouts. Josh, do you have any shoutouts for yourself?
Yes, well, if people obviously want to follow me at Mr. Nintendo on Twitter, but more importantly at All Source Gaming, if you want to be finding out all the latest news from Japan, from Sakurai, from Smash, from Gamescom, because we've got that coming up next week. And I'm going to be there playing a whole bunch of games, including Sekiro and Smash and Devil May Cry 5, I hope, for that one. So we're going to have a lot of good stuff going from that. And we got a YouTube channel. It's getting it's been rising a lot higher and a lot faster than I was expecting, which I'm super pleased about.
Deservingly so.
But yeah, so go and follow and subscribe to us if you haven't already. And I've always got to do this, so shout outs to our super patron, the Duke of Dorks. Get your name out everywhere. You're the best. And yeah, join our Discord, I suppose, is the only other thing I can say. We have a Discord link. I can give... I don't know where you post the podcast, but I can give you one if there's a place to put links down.
Like YouTube, Podomatic, iTunes, and Spotify. I'm not sure if Spotify has episode descriptions, though.
Nah, I could throw it on the YouTube one.
Yeah,
or just go on Twitter. I'm sure we'll post it.
Yeah.
If you're following us on Twitter, we post the Discord link periodically, so go there.
And now, in the odd turn of events for us, we've got some questions to ask. Of course, Smash related. One quickly is from my good friend Mickey Orchard. He asks, I've been hearing Jack talk load of smack about the Fire Emblem characters, since there's 7 of them now. is he down for a best of 7 grudge match when the game comes out? So I'm hoping that's true because me and Mickey, we both love Fire Emblem. We need to defend our honor. And Jack says 7 characters to send to the garbage. Why would you play as any? Why would you play as any of them sword fighters when you have Cloud? Which is a fair point, but you know, the thing is with Fire Emblem, it's like people are like complaining that like Sakurai may be biased, but I feel like Sakurai is deserving of that bias though, because he's creating this game. He's allowed to have.
He's going to go with what he knows. He's going to go with what he likes, and while I think a lot of Fire Emblem's content has been very much lucky at the time, Ike is better than Cloud, so
Whoa.
Go away.
Hot take. Only the hottest takes on this show. But yeah, so that's just a little bit of banter with Mickey and Jack there. But Josh, I understand you have a couple of meaty questions from.
Yeah, I have
some
a
of
few
your fans.
questions that I'm going to try and run through because we've already been talking a while. And so some of the quick ones. What are my thoughts on Lloyd Irving being in the Super Smash Brothers? I mean, he's certainly the Tails character who has the best chance of being in it. But in terms of actual Namco characters, I feel like Heihachi is makes a lot more sense as the next one. And as I said previously, I don't think we're going to get any new series. And even for DLC, to be honest, I don't think Lloyd is that big enough of a character to get in as DLC.
Like, I think, like, even though I wouldn't be too keen on Heihachi getting in, I think Tekken is big enough.
Oh yeah,
to get into Smash.
Huge series.
Tails, Tails is still like a bit niche overall.
So I think the Lloyd Irving Mii fighter costume is probably still bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no to the character getting in, but I just don't think it's very likely. I don't think I would be too big on getting into Smash.
Then one of our member from my Discord, Anime9001, asked a few questions that I'll just go through. If you think that custom balance option is indeed for range or something else. So there's a thing called custom balance, which people noticed in the rules, which looks like a guy getting angry. And in Japanese, it's called like handicap settings.
Right.
So what I think it is stuff like for handicaps, so stuff like rage and maybe even things like overall knockback or gravity or whatever for characters or for players, I think can be customized, which means you might be able to turn rage off entirely, which I'm sure loads of people would absolutely love.
Yeah, but, I'd quite like that.
Yeah, I think it is connected to rage, just for the simple fact that in Japanese it is like handicap stuff. So if you need to raise your handicap by increasing your rage, thus giving you stronger attacks, you can do it through this option.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think, especially because the symbol is very similar.
Yeah, it looks like a guy getting really angry.
So I feel like it can't be unrelated.
No. So then there was, how do I think my prediction roster is going to hold up? I've kind of said it throughout. I'm 4 out of 8 so far. I don't think Erdrick's getting in because I think Square is just not doing anything with stuff anymore. I still think Isabella and Incineroar are getting in though. Elma I'm 50-50 on. Like, I don't think I think Isabella and Incineroar are more likely. And again, I don't feel like Elma is the sort of character you can end on either.
But I feel like Elma, I think Elma still has a pretty damn strong chance though.
Yeah, I don't think she's impossible to get in still. I still think there's a chance of her getting in. I'm just starting to suspect that, like, with the amount of newcomers I think we've got left, I could see it going either way for Elma now. I'd love her to get in though. She's one of the characters I really want to see. But it could go either way for me personally.
Right.
Now, then, most over and underrated character for getting into the game. I'm not quite sure what is meant by that.
I think it's like, is there anyone that's like not being hyped enough, or is there anyone that's being overhyped?
Okay.
I don't really think so. Like, I can't
there
really.
There are definitely characters being overhyped. Marks from Kirby is being overhyped.
Oh, okay.
And Skull Kid is being overhyped.
I thought you meant like characters already in the game.
Characters already, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's for characters already in the game, I guess Richter was underrated.
Oh yeah.
And the most, I mean, it's hard to say characters overrated if they got in, right? Like, so I guess everyone expected King K. Rool to get in. I guess he was overrated, but he got in. So it's like, but yeah.
I actually don't. I don't think Skull Kid is necessarily. I think he is slightly overrated. Mainly because I would prefer a more iconic Zelda character like Tingle or Impa because they've appeared in more games. But again, like I see like the next mini question will be getting into Skull Kid a bit more, but I think there is enough reason to say that he could be in.
Yeah. Yeah. The next question is about the rumors around Skull Kid from LOZ, or is it Loz? I'm not sure how you pronounce it. But he said that Skull Kid was going to be a newcomer, and I mean, I'm just going to say it. I don't think Loz knows much. I don't think his track record's good enough. He knew about these stuff before E3, but a lot of people knew about the stuff before E3 because typical E3 practice is to show off stuff to certain members of the press, like beforehand, and at least a day beforehand. And it was at least a day before that he put it out. So if he knew someone from there, then he could easily get that information. And then all the stuff he said about the August Direct was at best misinformed.
Right.
Like some things were fine, like Tawny Mode is back, but then other things were just outright wrong.
Right.
So, and I just don't see any reason for Skull Kid to be added. He's not like he's a popular character, but he's not like he's a relevant character. He's not like he's massively popular, like Impa, Pig Ganon, Toon Zelda. They all get a lot more attention than Skull Kid does.
Toon Zelda gets more?
Yeah, a lot of people really want Toon Zelda. Yeah. It's a bit of a weird one. Maybe because she was planned for Brawl, maybe. Possibly. Or maybe people just really like Zelda. She's quite popular. Same for Toon Ganondorf.
Right. I think with, like, I saw Relax LX put out a little theory of, like, how Sakurai chose his furniture for the video. I think that is far-fetched. Like, there is some good points, but that is a bit too far-fetched. But I feel like he is getting onto some things with, like, the fact that he is highly requested, and this does seem to be a game of highly requested characters. And I think Legend of Zelda is overdue for a newcomer.
I mean, if Skull Kid gets in, I'd be happy, but I just don't see it, and I don't think this rumor has anything. I'm not saying that Loz doesn't have connections and doesn't have access to this, but I feel like
it could just be a lucky guess or whatever.
You always get stuff with rumors where, depending on what your source is like and how checked you are, depends on how accurate. I mean, everyone remembers Shovel Knight being rumored for Smash, and there was actually a good source behind that and good evidence behind that, but it was all misinterpreted.
Right.
And that's what caused that rumor to happen. The same could be happening here. Whatever his source has told him about Skull Kid, it could entirely be his source's perception on something that they've seen.
Okay.
And considering the amount of, depending on, I don't know who his source is or anything like that, but considering all the stuff he said would be in the August Direct that just outright was wrong, I don't have any reason to think that particular part is right.
Okay.
Personally.
That's fair. I think he still has a good chance, though. I think out of, like, all of the Zelda reps, I think he still has a high chance. Especially because, like, now we've got the moon as an assist trophy, which is really cool, by the way. I love that assist trophy. It encapsulates it so well. But yeah, it is, like, it's not confirming anything by the fact that, like, we haven't seen his assist trophy yet, but it does lean more towards the fact that, like, it would be slightly weird to be getting 2 Majora's Mask reps as assist trophies, you know.
I don't think it really makes a difference much, personally. Sorry. It's very late here.
It's almost 12.
Yeah, I got work tomorrow. Fun times.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
So, yeah, no, it's Yeah, I don't think that necessarily means anything. I mean, we might just lose the Skull Kid assist trophy, and then that's it. He's just not. He's just a trophy.
Wow. I feel like that would piss off a lot of people, though.
Like Palkia potentially does what he does,
Mm.
and so is there a reason to have him? And the Moon is much funner assist trophy.
Mm.
You never know. Like, well, we always have to see. I'd like Skull Kid to be in. I just
Right.
unless we are actively getting more newcomers than I think we are, I don't think Skull Kid's likely.
Mm.
But okay, yeah, those are the questions that I was going to from my side. So
Oh, I think there was one more. Do you want to mention or?
oh yeah, it was just asking if this leak was real. Yeah,
Right.
I missed it on the page thing. It's just about Spirits mode. It's basically saying Spirits mode is going to be like this RPG mode with boss battles and stuff, and there'll be cutscenes and all this. And I don't think it's real. It's cool sounding, for sure, but I think it's way too in depth for what I think Spirits mode will actually be.
Oh yeah, and I think especially for a leak, I think it is a bit too in depth for like if he's saying he's tried it out, but it still feels like a bit too in depth for like just a trial version.
Yeah, he's saying that's a good point. He's saying he got to try it out, and he says in he got his one playthrough which has 2 bosses, 3 hero fights, and three rival battles.
Yeah.
But then he goes into in-depth detail over if you do this with this particular character, you get a scene, and if you do this,
how did you trigger that in the first place?
Yeah, like how did you hit that point if you only had one playthrough and only hit these very specific things? It's like unless you had the exact character setups, which seems very unlikely because you said even earlier that you only picked 4 characters, and it's like, well, it's not quite making sense now, is it?
The other thing that gets me, or 2 things, is like one is like they seem to have been posted at like different times. So why not just post them all in the same time frame? You know, like the first one was posted at 1:30, the next was only half an hour later, the next one was an hour later. It's like, why not just post them all at the same time? That's a bit weird.
That is a bit of a weird time difference. And
the
then
other thing,
he says there's going to be a horror character coming up, and I mean Resident Evil is the
I really don't
obvious
think
one.
Resident Evil though. I
No.
really don't think so.
Again, I don't think we're getting any new third-party series because I feel like they'd need a stage, and they're not getting it. So
unless like, well, Nintendo only has Luigi's Mansion, but that's it. So
yeah.
The other thing as well, just quickly, is like they mentioned that it ends with a new Master character called Master Spirit. And he mentions that has a nice design, but why not go into the design of that character?
Yeah,
That's
like
the thing.
this, it's just going up and down on what, like, because if that's something that you actually saw the design of, then you can give details out of it. Otherwise, you're just like, yeah, it's nice. It's like there's nothing there.
Saying, with all this said though, I don't think it is real, but it would be a good solution to that Monster Hunter stage deal. Because, like, I think the argument I've seen thrown around a lot is that Sakurai says that there's a chance to fight that character.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
like,
I think that depends on where it's from and whether or not it's from classic mode, boss fight mode, or spirits mode.
Yeah. So I feel like the general structure of spirits mode allows that you can't always fight Rathalos, unlike a story-based mode.
Assuming it is even something to do with spirits mode.
Right.
I mean, people assume that it could be an event match, fight Rathalos.
Oh, possibly.
Or they could be or it could be like a classic mode in someone's classic mode. You fight Rathalos, or there's a boss rush mode. Like, I mean, it probably is for spirits mode. I'll say that, but we don't actually know. So
I think the
it
same
could be
thing.
for anything.
Say with the Dracula fight, because I've seen a lot of
Dracula is 100% the same thing that Rathalos is. It's not the Dracula's castle stage.
Yeah.
So there'll probably be other bosses as well, like Eggman, and PT Piranha will probably come back, and maybe Porky.
I'm hoping for Doshin the Giant boss. I know Ollie Jameson, a good friend of the show, he wants him to be a fighter. But I think he'd be far better as
I hate giant boss. He just throws natural disasters at you.
That'd
be beautiful.
That'd be
Make that
such
happen.
a cool, like, off the wall pick though for a boss.
You have to beat him by throwing his spawn point off the level.
Ah, that'd be sick. But yeah, like if this idea does turn out real, I wouldn't say no to it. I think this is a good basis for a new mode. I just don't. I think there is like some throwaway stuff. It's like it does seem to be a bit too detailed for League.
Yeah.
And it's like how? I don't know. Just for that, like you mentioned, he's played it before. That's like how though? You know. So I feel like if Press did, then why would Press actually want to go out? Because I assume only like top people would want to go. At least would actually try it, be invited to try it out at least.
Yeah.
You know. So I wouldn't see why any of those would actually take to 4chan and post it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make much sense, and I don't think this leak is real. So, yeah, but there we go. That's all the questions.
Yeah. So we've finally reached the end of another long episode. But a good one at that. All that's really left is just like the generic stuff, like where you can find us and all that good stuff. So you can find the podcast on Twitter and Facebook. For Twitter, just search for N Podcast System, and I believe it's the same for Facebook as well. Email is nintendopodcastsystem@gmail.com. It's simple, but it's incredibly long, so I don't blame you if you don't use it that often. Because we hardly get any emails there. So
who uses email nowadays? Unless you're in business.
But you can find the podcast either on YouTube, Podomatic, iTunes, or Spotify. So follow us there, give us a like, review the show, what have you. That's about it for the podcast, I believe. As for myself, you can find me on Twitter, mainly at Acegibbo, Acegibbo. Hopefully I'll have some more things up. I'm planning on working more with Nintendo Village. Gary Gray, a previous guest of ours, is part of. Josh, where can people find you?
Yeah, well, I think I said it earlier in the shout-out section, but you can find me at All Source Gaming on Twitter, or source-gaming.com, or Source Gaming, the YouTube channel. There's a plenty of places that I hang out. Or just follow me specifically at Mr. Nintendo on Twitter. I've nearly got 1,000 followers. I noticed this morning. So, woo. I'm getting somewhere. People are noticing.
I wish I could have that growth.
One day.
One day. That's what I'm
3 years
towards.
of hard work on Source Gaming.
That's what I promised myself to try and do over the summer, but no, I just spent it like trying to get to rank X in Splatoon 2, and I'm only at S.
That's a lot higher than me.
Just again. Unless you had anything else to say.
Nope.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Right. What is our ending music to this episode?
Oh. Why don't, as we were talking about Splatoon, play me out to that the staff credits theme from the Octo expansion.
Right. Nice pick.
What's it called? That one. I don't know what it's called. I think it's not Fly Me. That's the boss theme.
Yeah.
But it's a really good song. So play the staff credits. Roll the credits.
Yeah. So you'll probably be hearing that right now. Definitely check out Josh/Nantenjex everywhere, as well as Source Gaming. They do generally good work, especially with the Smash series, translating stuff, doing good opinion pieces, all that good stuff. So definitely check them out. You can probably find them in the description below where to find them. And again, special thanks to Nantenjex for spending a hefty amount of time talking about Nintendo and Smash today. It's another beefy sized episode, so I hope you've actually not fallen asleep listening to us. So yeah, definitely check them out. Again, thanks to Josh for coming on the show.
No problem.
It's been a
lovely
great
to
honor.
be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me.
I hope I've been a good host. And with that, that ends it for this episode of the Nintendo Podcast System. Thank you all for listening/watching, and happy gaming.